Hello again, everybody, and welcome one more time to the ABL here on StarHub as we bring you the 2018-2019 finals. Game 5, last gasp for one of these teams, and one of these teams will walk out of the OCBC arena as the champions of the 2018-19 season. Here it is, confirmation of our two teams, the 21-13 Singapore Slingers, the 21-14 CLS Knights, and their records would indicate they are very evenly matched. Both these teams have split 4 games, one here and one away for Singapore. Ditto for the CLS Knights as we look at the guys in the white shirts, Hung Han Bin, as we look at the road to the finals, how they got here. 2-0 Mono Vampires. Well, they went down to CLS Mono Vampires. They were highly fancied in that series. On the other side of the ball, Singapore having a surprisingly easy time with Hong Kong, thrashing them 2-0. And here we are, as we just said, 2 games each, one each at the OCBC Arena, one at the Pit, as I like to call it, in Surabaya, even it up at 2-2. We'll talk more about that a little bit later as we look at the other side, the CLS Knights, and big Brian Watkins. And man, did he have a monster game, as we will attest to that right there. There he is, cleaning up and putting it back in for the garbage. 2 points. He finishes with 28 and 16. There he is at the other end, 87-74 shellacking at the hands of CLS Singapore. Although they were off to that quick 8-0 lead, they just could not do anything with the interior game of that guy right there. As we look at it again, off the dribble, and Watkins again getting past his man, and that was the same all night long. So Watkins, the man of the game in the last game. He had 2 great games in both those games. Strangely enough, or not strangely enough, CLS won. So here are the referees for tonight: Chu Win Chen, Chung Kwok Shun, Andy Chung Kwok, and Lee Yu Chong, Chinese Taipei, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. They've been doing a fine job throughout the season, so good luck, guys. You're going to have your hands full tonight as we look at Maxi Esho on the bench for the CLS Knights. And they are just about ready to do battle here. So before the game, we talked to some of the coaches, some of the players, and got some of their reflections, not only on tonight's game, but the entire season. And that'll be coming up in just a minute. As we look at Esho, he's averaging over 20 points a game in the playoffs. And here are those interviews that we talked about. Well, there we're going to talk to Coach Rowson first to see the back of him. Very dapper-looking Coach Brian Rowson. We interviewed with him, and very, very excited to be here at the OCBC Arena for the 3rd time. There is, on the other side of the ball, is Coach Nyo. Coach Nyo has been with the Singapore Slingers at the inception all the way until now. 11 years here, 13 years actually, he has toiled for the Singapore Slingers, and finally getting a trip to the finals. It's not finally, 3rd time in for Coach Rowson. As look how, man, he looks great in the suit, doesn't he? The ex-NBAer. He's coached everywhere around the world. You won't meet a nicer guy. And we're going to be introduced to the players here for the CLS Knights, and then also the Singapore Slingers. Understandably, a packed house here. I'm along with Marco Benitez and Scotty McKinnon. We'll be bringing them on in just a minute, but they had to put 273 seats on either end, a total of 550 seats or something thereabouts, to bring the total to over 3,000 here for this arena. There is not an empty seat in the house as we look at the starters or some of the other players also for the CLS Knights. Jawado, what a series he's had, averaging over 15 points. Again, there's Wong Wei Long, the Singapore native. He will be starting for the CLS Knights. Kiranawan, he has done a fine job off the bench. Hayato, what a game he had in game 4 for CLS, draining 8 points. Some of the other role players for the CLS Knights and their other players. There's Maxi Esho. He is not a role player at all. He's one of the go-to guys for the CLS Knights. He averaged over 20 points a game and 10 rebounds. And don't forget the specter of Daryl Watkins. What a series, what a season Daryl Watkins has had. One of the guys in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. So those are the stalwarts for the CLS Knights, as we said, coached by a fine job done by Brian Rowson this year in his inaugural campaign for CLS Knights. In fact, this is the first time the CLS Knights have been in the finals, and now you're going to hear a roar because the Singapore Slingers are being announced before this packed house. And we'll look at their role players first, and then we'll talk about the starters in a little bit. But what a season they have had, as we said, 21-13, the best defensive team in the league. Gave up just over 79 points a game and held the CLS Knights in that number 3 game that we saw here on StarHub, 63-60, and going and losing game 4 by a score of 87-74. So there is Lim, one of the role players. He can also light it up on defense for the Singapore Slingers. Desmond, he will not get the start tonight. He has started most of the games, but 32 years old. He has been a fixture for the Singapore Slingers year after year. One of the older guys, 5'8". He can still shut it down with the best of them on defense. Tae Ding Loon, number 6. Role player, 24 years of age. He's 6 feet tall, 183 pounds. Here's a guy that everybody loves to have the ball in crunch situation. Ung Han Bin, he scored 8 points in that last game and also grabbed 6 rebounds. Kelvin Lim, 22-year-old. Probably will not get a lot of playing time tonight, if any. There's Russell Lowe. He's been sort of the mystery man. 6'5", he plays much bigger, a wide body that you can plant down there on the low block or high block. He'll give you some garbage points underneath the basket. Very good from short range. V. Lavin Raj, unless it's a route, you're not going to see him in the game. He's only 18 years of age, so he's got a future. 6'7", 306 pounds, a lot of baby fat on him, still learning the game, but he is a project that the Singapore Slingers will develop not only this season, but next season as well. And here we go, the starting 5. John Fields, Defensive Player of the Year, number 5. He's had a couple of terrific games. A couple of games by his standards, he'd be the first one to admit, a little bit mediocre, but the games he has dominated, Watkins, those are the games the Slingers have gone on to win. Larry Liu, he will get the start tonight. What a job he's done on the defensive end. Also 8 points in the last game for him. He's had a couple of sparkling games. Jaron Young, a lot of the Slingers' hopes are pinned on his narrow shoulders. He came up with an injury in his hamstring the first game, but came on like gangbusters the last couple. He's about 70%. There's Delvin Go, sort of the invisible man the last couple of games. The first game he came in and scored 13 points. They need to get him off early and often, and there is the straw that stirs the drinks. We said so many times, the league MVP. Xavier Alexander averaged over 22 points a game, 8 boards, 8 assists. He is the guy that makes it go for Singapore. He had a marvelous game in a losing effort the last game. 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. So there you have it. Those are your contestants for tonight's Game 5. They played each other already 8 times, and to nobody's surprise, they are 4-4. So something's got to give here at the OCBC Arena, as we said before, a packed house here at 8 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's take a look at the interviews we promised you a little bit earlier and get some reflections on the coaches and players.
Well, I think basically they are set of the loss of Game 4, but I think we bounced back, and I think we got a very good preparation, and players are pretty confident, and we want to win this championship at home.
No one expected us to be here in the finals this year, obviously. Singapore has been here 3 out of the last 4 years. They've been close. So I've been telling our team that, I feel like the pressure's on Singapore. They've come close and haven't won a championship yet. So we're not even supposed to be here. So let's just have fun. Again, the pressure's on them to try to come through and finally win for their first championship.
I love John. I love the energy he's brought to the game, he's brought to the team this year. And, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Hopefully we can, like I say, crown it today with the ABL title.
I think I'm feeling really, really good, excited about the atmosphere that what the fans gonna give, but I'm just gonna enjoy every single moment of my time right here. And today is the finals, and I hope that both teams will have a good game, and both teams will fight and compete against one another.
So Wong Wei Long, the hometown boy, playing for the opposite team, and he will get the start. He's the shadow man there. Maxi Esho, Brandon Jawado, Douglas Herring, Darryl Watkins, all those guys can come up big and have time. That's the time for the CLS Knights. That's why they are in the finals now, vying for this championship in Game 5. And one of the key players for CLS that we want to keep our eye on tonight. Well, we've talked about him incessantly, and why not Maxi Esho? He can do it from inside, outside. We're going to watch him here on the video. Going to the left hand, little head fake there, finding some way to get inside. That is vintage Maxi Esho. Not only can he do it from inside, but you cannot give him any room on the outside, or else he will do this like a dagger from anywhere on the court. Maxi Esho, 6'7", 6'8", but he can play as small as 6'3". Look at there, getting the step on Jaron Young, which is not easy to do. So quick off the ball, quick away from the ball, does it for you both on the offensive and defensive way as well. Check out the starting 5, or we're gonna look at Jawado, our second key player for the CLS Knights. Local guy, also has some game time experience in the States and a very, very smooth player. He is known for what he can do from outside, but you give him a step on that catch and shoot there, you give him any kind of space at all, and he can light up just like he did the other night. He's averaging over 15 points a game in this series for the CLS Knights, and he will do that all day. Here he is off the feed. On that left-hand side, we saw 4 different angles or 4 different places where he can shoot the ball. There's not a place where you are out of danger when Brandon Juado has the ball. Starting 5 for the Singapore Slingers, Larry Liu. We talked about that surprise start. Not so surprising given what he's done on the defensive end, and 8 points as well. Jaron Young, he'll be about 70%. Xavier Alexander, John Fields, and Delvin Go for the Slingers. Some of the players that are important, well, Xavier Alexander, must we say it again, what can he do in a losing effort in Game 4? 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. There he is. A little hesitation jumper. That is the aspect of his game that's probably improved more than any other the last 2 or 3 years. This is 4th year in the league. There he is getting around one player. Very, very deceptive on that quick first step. Here he is in the open court, brushing past Watkins. He is very intelligent, high basketball IQ. He can ascertain where it is time for him to launch it and where not. He can even do it from beyond the arc there, and there he is again, 25 points. So we are just getting ready to start here. So the fans are ready. I know you are ready at home. I know we're ready here at the OCBC Arena as we look at John Fields and Darryl Watkins getting ready to do battle. And it is no secret that these 2 guys, they are the factors that can make the difference in between the championship. Watkins has had 2 great games, and so has Fields. So without further ado, let's turn it over to the fans, you at home, and let's do it here at the OCBC Arena. Chuck Shrine along with Marco Benitez and Scotty McKinnon. And right away, guys, tell you what, these first couple of minutes, Marco, are so crucial.
So crucial, Chuck. And, you know, history in the side of the Singapore Slingers in the past 2 times that the series has gone 5 games since they went to a 5-game format. The home team has come out victorious. So Singapore Slingers looking to continue that streak. But as you mentioned, they have to come out strong. Ideally, 8-0 start would be good for them, and they have to maintain that type of energy all throughout.
Right away, they spread it out. Alexander with the ball on that right-hand side, gets the screen from John Fields, looking for somebody to cut inside. They don't. They cut it back outside to Delvin Go. Go over to Alexander. Posted out wide. There is Jaron Young finding some space somewhere. The follow is no good. Gang rebounding inside. Delvin Go puts it up and in.
How positive is that for Singapore? Delvin Go struggled the last 3 games, and to have him step up, get an offensive putback early in this game is only going to provide him some confidence.
We talked about that last night, Scotty, when we were together. Delvin Go has to get off early on. Singapore is such a good team when they can do that, or a better team when they can. Maxi Echo from the outside, Herring off the dribble. Double pump fake off the head. Fires up a 2, that's going to be short. Gang rebounding again. Don Fields corrals it off to Jaron Young. Quick pass down the court. They'll wait for numbers. Downstairs it goes, and a foul, and that will go on Wong Wei Long, I believe. Quick pass on the interior there, Scotty McKinnon.
Yeah, and I love the strategy right now to go to Delvin Go to get him going. He started the first half of game 1, 5 for 5 for 11 points, and it's nice to see the Slingers coaches Johnson and Neo going after his size as an advantage right now.
Inbound, lost by, but last touch by CLS. So Young with a little bit of a fumble there. Esho getting a hand to it. Esho consorting his players to get a little bit more aggressive. There he is on the inbound pass, right around Juado, right around Herring. They got the mismatch they wanted, Marco, inside.
You know, Chuck, historically in the series, the team that has won the inside points has come out victorious.
Good aggressive challenge there by Jaron Young on Wong Wei Long. Last touch by Young, so at the far side, they'll take it out. Wong Wei Long.
In the last 3.5 games, Delvin Go's only taken 7 combined shots. He has 2 in the first minute here. What a great start for our local MVP nominee.
Herring over to Juado. Around the screen he goes, rises and fires on the 3 ball. It's going to be off the mark. Jaron Young with the board. Off to the right goes Xavier Alexander. Quick downstairs to Larry Liu for the 3. Yes!
3-point shooting going to be so critical in this game. CLS in their wins average about 9 triples per game. They're the #1 3-point shooting team in the league. If Singapore can sort of match that, they're going to be in a good position to win.
7-0 and the miss by Watkins trying to force it. Larry Liu downstairs again. Jaron Young swings it over to the right. Delvin Go, yes! Getting the separation inside. 9-0 Singapore.
Delvin Go, 3 of 4 from the field, 6 points, 2 rebounds. The local MVP nominee has come to play in this deciding game tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Delvin Go.
And that is just what Singapore need, as we said before, Scotty, in games 2, 3, and 4, and Marco, only 7 shots taken by Delvin Go, Marco. That's the way to start off the game.
Especially since it's coming from a local, and you know what? 4 quick inside points. So far they're dominating the inside game. That has been the recipe for success for every winning team in this series.
Great quick first step, and look at the mismatch inside. They swing it over to Alexander. Great basketball IQ. We talked about that. Oh boy. Standing flat-footed was Watkins, and great ascertaining of a defensive position by there, and Delvin Go just goes straight around him. You won't see that very often.
Love the assertiveness of Delvin Go to attack Daryl Watkins there, because regardless if he makes the layup or not, he's creating some kind of space or physicality with Daryl Watkins. And if Daryl Watkins gets in foul trouble, they have absolutely no bigs for the CLS Knights to come in off the bench.
We talk about the importance of the local guys. When you look on the scoreboard right now, gentlemen, 9-0, and all 9 points being scored by the locals.
And you know what, also defensively, it's important for the Slingers. In their wins, they only allow CLS to score about 58, close to 60 points per game. But in the games that CLS has won in this series, they go up to about 90 points per game. So defense will be critical here for the Slingers.
So before we get over anxious Slinger fans, there's a whole 8-10 to go here in the first quarter. So we know what sort of character these CLS Knights have. Remember, Singapore jumped off to that 8-0 lead just a few nights ago, Scotty McKinnon, and they were reeled in very quickly.
Yeah, and sometimes it's bad to get off to a really quick start early in the game, because there's still 39 minutes in this basketball game for CLS to get into their rhythm and get back in this game.
Not trying to be Debbie Downers or anything, but just saying. Herring on that right-hand side to Wong Wei Lin. Back outside to Herring. Oh, great defense inside. There is Fields working against Watkins. Watkins able to turn the corner and get the angle on John Fields. So they've off the snide now, 9-2. Downstairs it goes, and a foul.
Well, you know what, Chuck? That was exactly the way CLS came back in that game in that first quarter. They tried to attack John Fields one-on-one. Coach Neo going with single coverage against Daryl Watkins. That proved to be the difference. Watkins finished with about 28 points in game 4.
And Delvin Go with another rim run there to the rim. He beats his mound on the floor, and he has 25 pounds and 2 inches on Brandon Jawato, and he's finally taking advantage of that size. Delvin Go has really playing to his strengths right now in game 5.
First foul on Jawato, rimmed off.
And I think, Chuck, the difference was that in game 4, they tried to set up Delvin Go straight to the post on their set offense. Right now, he had a hard time beating Jawato in terms of foot speed, but right now, he's beating Jawato down in transition, so they're finding him early, getting in good scoring position at the start of the shot clock.
So 10-2 lead for Singapore Slingers. Second team foul for the Knights. Singapore yet to have a foul. Herring over the top to Wong Wei Long, going off to the other side. Ooh, almost picked off. Watkins downstairs, fumbling it back outside. The ball picked off. Alexander calling for the possession, but off of his hands.
And Singapore, out of free throws, made 3 throws this year. They've fallen in that 1-2-2 half-court trap. They've been very loyal to it. And it's just to change the tempo and create a little bit of difference in that shot clock, bringing the ball down the court.
That will force CLS to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. Back up. There's the steal by Young. Lead pass to Lou. Back to Alexander. He's going downhill, and the finish.
And you know, in terms of fast break points in the games they've won, they've had a plus 13 advantage in terms of fast break points. So the team that is able to run in this game 5, I think, has the upper hand.
And I think John Fields gets his first foul back down at the other end very, very quickly. CLS doing the right thing and quickly looking down the court. Singapore a little bit lazy bringing the ball back, but just textbook perfect fast break run there from Larry Liu, gutting right up the gut for Xavier Alexander. So that foul actually was on Young, so that will be 1 on him. Remember, Jaron Young nursing that pulled hamstring. Jawato.
And you know what's good about that, Chuck, was that in game 4, Singapore didn't get their first pair of fast break points until the second half. So right now, they're off to a good start fast break-wise.
Cutting out wide is Jaron Young. Loses a fortuitous bounce there right into the hands of Alexander. Ill-advised shot there by Larry Liu. Tries to take it off the glass, and Mitch's Herring has Esho camped out on the left-hand side. They swing it over to him, and they foul inside. Let's see who they give that to. Will that be on Watkins or Fields?
If that's on Fields, that's going to be 2 personal fouls.
No, that will actually be 1. They've called that last foul on Jaron Young.
Check that, yeah.
So Fields with 1, Young with 1. And the team foul's knotted up at 2. Herring now camped outside. Jawado finds some space inside, off balance jumper, nothing but net.
CLS has done a really good job of weathering the storm. It's back down to 5 points. They didn't get flustered by the quick start by Singapore, and now it's a competitive basketball game again.
And the ball picked off. Ill-advised pass there by Jaron Young, and back comes Herring and company, dumping the ball down low. Wong Wei Long finds some room inside, going against Delvin Go, who knocks it away. Back comes Jaron Young. Pass is a little bit wild, and out of bounds it goes. My goodness, bad pass. Second turnover there for Jaron Young.
It's back-to-back turnovers for Jaron Young. There was a game where he had 3 straight turnovers, and Coach Joe just sent him to the bench. He has to settle himself down. You know, big game jitters will always be there, but he has to settle himself down.
Like you said, Scotty, CLS doing a great job of getting their heads right back into this game. Herring off a dribble. He's got the screen there by Watkins. Watkins at the high post, gives it off. Ball blocked away. Jaron Young could have been called for a foul there. Off the dribble. Herring for a triple.
Yeah, and Douglas Herring is very scary. He's a streak shooter. He only shoots 32 from the 3, but when he gets it going, he's very, very scary from that 3-point line.
Good job of sealing it off. Fields with the shot. The follow. Who else? Delvin Go downstairs. Getting position. Up and in.
That's 9 of the 14 points of the Slingers in the first quarter coming from Delvin Go inside.
Herring. Watkins working against Fields. Slashing across is Esho. Bounce pass over to him. Alexander turning the corner is Esho. Too close of an angle. Back comes Young. Young will be a little bit more careful. The ball going to the left hand. Rises, fires for 2 off the mark. No foul called. Rebound by Esho. Now to Herring. Wonder if this pace might favor CLS a little bit. Shot there by Herring off the mark. Back to Larry Liu. Over to Alexander. Cutting through is Delvin Go. He'll line it up on that low post. They'll try the entry pass to him. No, they won't. Back outside. John Fields has that wide open shot off the mark again. 0 for 2 is Fields. That's really not the shot that you want him to be taking.
See how far Darryl Watkins is away from John Fields. That's about 2 steps. There's absolutely no respect for the jump shot of John Fields.
Oh boy. Cutting the corner. Nice recovery there by Fields on the low block. Bounce pass over. Wong Wei Long from 3. Yes!
This isn't a good sign right now for Singapore. CLS getting hot from the 3-point line, and another turnover.
Yeah, and the steal at the other end, and another 3. So for the first time in the game, Herring with that second triple of his off the turnover. Singapore's got to slow it down. They will call a timeout tonight, but their first lead, gentlemen, 16-14.
That's a 16-5 run erupted by the CLS Knights. After that time, I think you can see Coach Neo is livid at his players.
Yeah, that the turnover is inexcusable, coupled by Jaron Young at the other end. And really right now, Xavier Alexander not into the offensive flow, but however, on the other side of the ball, and it does take a lot of guts, guys, to come back. They were down 9-0 with the crowd breathing down their throat. Calmly, as you said, Scotty McKinnon, just coming back, taking it 1 possession at a time, taking care of the ball, collapsing down on the inside, giving them nothing cheap, biding their time, letting Singapore, especially John Fields, miss a couple jumpers, and then taking care of business from beyond the arc.
Well, that's a reflection of their coach. Coach Brian Nelson never is excitable. He's very calm on the sideline there. He's very apparent and deliberate with his movements and his coaching style, and that's a reflection of his team right now. In the next possession, Singapore has to get a contest on that 3, and they have to find Douglas Herring, because if he gets it going, he is an unbelievably streaky rhythm shooter.
Very concerned, as you can tell, about the Watkins. He has burned him in a couple games, but you have to remember it's not a one-man team. And on top of that, guys, we have seen nothing of Maxi Esho yet, and he's another guy that can do it at any time.
And that is what is more scary for the CLS Knights. And it just goes back to what Coach Brian said during the interviews, that the pressure that he feels is more on the Slingers, because they are playing with house money, so to speak. They've achieved what they wanted to achieve. Did not make the playoffs last season. Right now, they are one win away from winning a championship. So I believe pressure more on the side of the Slingers.
Okay, as Marco said, 16-5 run for this team right now in blue, the CLS Knights. Outside to Liu. Liu gets around one screen. Desmond O in the game right now for Jaron Young, who's been relegated to the bench. Bounce pass. Fields rises, fires for 2. He's going to be off the mark. Alexander there to clean up, and a foul, and that'll go on Herring.
Yeah, now CLS fell into a 2-3 zone there, and it was very interesting. They've seen that Singapore's tightened up a little bit, and that generally affects your jump shot. So a very strategic move by Coach Brian Nelson to drop back into a zone and see if the Singapore's could make a basketball IQ decision there.
Daring Singapore to shoot it from the outside. Good ball movement by the Slingers to get the ball downstairs to Alexander, and crucial free throws, as they all are in the final. Singapore not known as a very good free throw shooting team, guys. They were last in the league at 69.1%.
That's right, Chuck. And they're also not known as a great three-point shooting team. So I like the ploy of Coach Brian Rosam just to pack it inside the paint. On the average, Singapore in wins and their losses here in the series, they only average about 6 triples a game. So Coach Brian doesn't feel that will beat them.
Oh, terrific ball movement by CLS. Long cross-court pass. That show his first shot of the game. Rims in and out, but right back into his hands. I think he was stepped out of bounds, though, so it'll be Singapore ball.
What a closeout there by John Fields. He came from the midline all the way out to get a contest on the 42% three-point shooter Maxi Escher there. So great hustle from the big man to get out and get a contest on that shot.
So if you just joined us, Singapore marching off to the quick 9-0 lead. They were quickly reeled in, and now the Knights with that slender 1-point lead. Alexander with the ball. Full house here at the OCBC Arena of about 3,000. Added extra seats. Chuck Schreiner, Marco Benitez, and Scotty McKinnon with the call. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. Backup jumper by Alexander.
That's a tough shot there on the part of Alexander. Wong Wei Long playing great defense, but just a nice spin move and a tough 15-footer.
Alexander already in the ears of the referees.
Interesting enough, during that timeout, Coach Neal was very animated towards Jaron Young and his possession of the ball, and Desmond O came in for a very quick sub for him. So he's giving Young, I think it's a very intelligent move to give Young a little bit of a break, let him collect his thoughts, and then get him back in the game.
Well, you talk about streaky players. Jaron Young on both sides of the ball is the epitome of streak. Not on a very good one right now, so making the right decision, putting Desmond O, who is known for his defense, in the game, and he'll slide over on Wong Wei Long, a push down low, and I think see who that will go against. Larry Liu, I believe. So the mismatch downstairs, they do a good job of finding Watkins on Liu.
That's exactly right, Chuck. CLS so good at those small to big screens, forcing the defense to switch, finding the mismatch. That time it was Larry Liu on Daryl Watkins.
Herring waiting for cutters. Watkins with a long shot, a little bit beyond his range, back into the hands of Alexander, who pops it over to go. Back come the Slingers all the way downstairs to Fields. Fields off balance shot inside. Good.
Very nice to see John Fields rim run there for his first basket of the game. So it's a really key point right now. Only 2 points for John Fields.
Fields and Watkins, we said, have traded excellent games. Herring off the dribble, half space. Fields on him. Catch and shoot. And that is another three for Jawato.
And how big has Jawato been? Those big triples. Does not hit a lot in games, except in game 4 he had 5, but the timing of his triple is just impeccable.
Once again, trying to get over the top and feed it over to John Fields. Knocked that away by Watkins, so it'll be Singapore ball on the baseline. Out goes Larry Liu. Into the game comes Young again. Trying to find position. Oh boy, a little bit weak on that foray. See who touched it last. It'll be Watkins with the touch, and he knew it. What do we have here? There's going to be a technical foul on Watkins. The crowd asking for it. Yes, he does. Watkins a little bit too much descent, and the crowd all over that.
Chuck, I think they're going to give that to Brian Rowson on the bench.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very, very animated and vocal towards the official there on the baseline.
And you know what's funny, Chuck, is he's not normally like that. I think the entire season he's only gotten one other technical. So this also could be a way for Coach Brian to really fire up his squad.
So Watkins pleading his case and wanting the foul, obviously. He felt that Fields was in his grill. The referee's having none of it.
Love this substitution by Coach Neo to get Jaron Young back in. A really quick rest to get his thoughts together, to calm himself down, slow his movement patterns down, and now he's back in the game again.
Concern for the Slingers, though, gentlemen. They're going to have to defend against these threes, because this is really where this is CLS's bread and butter. The last couple of games, they really think they found something there.
Number 1 three-point shooting team in the league, average about 37% from long distance.
And Marco, you talked about the timing of Joato's threes. That makes Coach Neo make a decision between Delvin Go and Hanbin. Is he going to go with his strength, the big inside, or is he going to go with someone who can't keep up with Joato on the other side?
3 team fouls on CLS, 2 for Singapore. Wide open look for Young from the corner. Good and 1. Chance for a 4-point play for Jaron Young.
And you talked about the timing of the insertion of Jaron Young. That bears fruit, 4-point play. Gets Jawato on the foul.
Jawado diving at him, and that will be to add insult to injury. I believe that will be 2 on Jawado, if in fact it is on him.
Chuck,
there is the shot again.
You mentioned he's a rhythm player, right? Jaron Young is a streak player as much as you get in this league, and for him to hit an and 1-3 right there is a very good momentum going forward.
So they blew the whistle, but 22-19 the score, so no foul, I guess, on there. Just the whistle, so crowd and I thought it was a foul. Turning the corner is Watkins. Now he has to kick it back outside. Good bump up defense by John Fields. Around one way long from that left side is going to be far short that time. Fields cleaning it up. Back comes Alexander. 1:42 to go here in the first quarter. Exciting as advertised. Desmond O, stutter step move inside, tries to find some room. Back outside, Alexander with 10 on the shot clock. Left hand turns, fires, off balance shot, no good. Watkins pulls down the board. Back comes Herring and company.
That's great defense there by Xavier Alexander.
Wide open look for Jawado, but instead he will take it to the rack for 2.
And this is what Jawado gives you. Can hurt you from the outside, can also hurt you from the inside.
Young, left hand now. Young, yes. Whoa, wait a minute. We have a foul before that. A reach in, I believe, or
it looks like an unsportsmanlike foul. See, they're going to call it against Doug Herring.
See what Herring does to earn that. Oh, a push from behind on Fields. Fields goes sprawling, and Fields pointing to Herring. So for Herring,
I think that's going to be 3 personals on Doug Herring.
That's 2 actually.
2.
Marco, yeah, 2. So unsportsmanlike foul or just a normal foul. Let's see how they ring it up. Either way, though, Herring with 2. So early concern for CLS, their playmaker. Let's see how they draw this up here. Herring still beseeching the referees, but quite clearly you can see Fields push from behind, guys, and I don't know how the referees can ignore that.
That's going to be 2 free throws plus ball possession to the Slingers.
Big momentum change with 1:12 left here in the first quarter for the Slingers to get not only his 2 foul shots, but also that possession, like you said. So hopefully Jaron Young can make them pay from the through line here.
Well, a game of momentum, guys. We talked about Singapore coming out with all the momentum in the world, and then the momentum switching straight over to the Knights, but because of a couple of kind of silly decisions by the coach and the player, giving Singapore a chance to take the momentum right back.
And you know, the only thing you don't like here, if you're Coach Neo, is that the game is so far high scoring, because you'd want a more grind out, a low scoring type of game. But hey, you're in the lead by 2, possibly by 3, so you'll probably take it at this point.
Young obliges, hits 2 of 2, and Singapore will have the ball with an opportunity to take a 5 or 6 point lead. So checking back into the game, Young will go to the bench again. I detect a little bit of a limp. Let's hope it's nothing major, but 1:12 to go here in the first quarter. So Larry Liu will come back into the game for defensive purposes, and that 3 ball that he is so fond of. And Coach Rowson.
Jaron Young had a really nice little shift there, going 2 for 4 for 5 points. He came in confident and assertive and looked to score, and that's a great thing for the Slingers going forward.
So Alexander, 1-9 and counting. Desmond O applying the screen. Alexander getting away from Watkins, tries to go the opposite way, knocked away. Great defensive seal there by Watkins.
You see the defense of CLS just waiting for switching on the perimeter screens that time. Watkins, great help defense. Arif Hidayat, the explosive sub in game 4, back in the game as well.
And there's a foul on Watkins. Nice job by Fields to get clear. So for Watkins, let's see, is that just 1 on him? I believe so. Watch it again. Watkins has a decision to make right there. Good decision also by John Fields just to hold his ground, knowing that Watkins was right on his back, Scotty.
Yeah, and on that baseline out of bounds, John Fields does a great job from starting up high and cutting towards the rim, getting the seal, catching the basketball, and like you said, Chuck, on balance, under control, straight to the rim with parallel shoulders.
Missing the first of 2. Singapore, not even 50%, well, just 50% from the line or thereabouts. Fields 1 of 2, so there's your 4-point lead.
And I think, Chuck, what is crucial is that John Fields should not settle for outside shots. Has to continue to be aggressive and take it to Jairo Watkins.
Terrific point, Marco. Dump pass inside, looking for cutters is Herring. Herring back outside. Little one-handed push shot and the follow. Nice job by Herring not to give up on the play and cut in on the baseline, Scotty.
Yeah, and Herring's got a nice little rhythm going right now. 8 points, 3 of 5, and a great offensive rebound there of getting around Hanbin and tipping the basketball in.
Oh boy, down low. Fields fishing it out. Desmond 5 on the shot clock. Going baseline, and somehow, in amongst the trees, John Fields takes it to the basket for 2. And the C's open up. Nobody wanted the foul.
You love the aggressiveness there for John Fields. Took it strong. Did not mind any help defense coming from Darryl Watkins.
You can see once he got the step, nobody stepped in a blue shirt to stop him, cognizant of the fouls. Back outside, Esho, show and go move inside, takes the ball to the rim. Let's see, what do we have here? Waving it off. And that will end it, so the basket does not count. The stroke of midnight, no dice for CLS. 4-point lead by the Slingers, 27-23. Here at a packed house at OCBC Arena, Game 5 when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just as we thought it would be a close, hotly contested game, 27-23 in favor of the Slingers. We look at some of the highlights from that critical first quarter. Singapore coming out like gangbusters. Delvin Go, 6 quick points. In fact, he finishes with 9 in that first quarter. Had the bulk of the Singapore offense. The other side of the ball, well, look at Larry Liu. Little catch and shoot action inside. Oh, nice little show and go movement there by Delvin Go again. Inside, it wasn't all one-way traffic, and Watkins gets things going for the CLS Knights. They come back furiously, but there in the open court goes Xavier Alexander taking the ball to the house. Jawado, little backup jumper off a 1 foot. He was tremendous in that first quarter. Jawado, in fact, with 10 points, leading all scorers. There is Xavier Alexander. Well, guys, any clues you can get by the stats? Of course, it's a close game, and I'm betting the stats will sort of show that.
Well, Scotty was mentioning this. 16 of the 27 points of the Slingers coming from inside the paint. In their wins, they average about 36 points in the paint per game.
So big clue right there, and CLS shooting very well from outside. Bounce pass inside it goes. No look shot there off the mark. Alexander there to clean it up, and back comes Singapore in white, CLS in blue. Dumps it off to Ung Han Bin. Now to Larry Liu. He's got 1 triple inside to Fields looking for cutters. Good job covering on defense by CLS as they coalesce on Alexander. It doesn't matter. Hesitation in the air for 2.
And this is where the Slingers are at their best. They've already shot 9 foul shots. They're winning the rebounding battle by 8. They need to continue attacking inside, outside.
Medayat now in the game. He had the big game 4 with 8 points. Very streaky shooter. There's Esho. Esho yet to get off the mark as of yet. Losing control of the ball. Now Herring. Herring left hand inside. Squirms. Can't get it. Last touch by Singapore. I think it'll be CLS ball.
You know, that's a good point by Scotty, especially that Darryl Watkins is on the bench. There's no shot blocker on the floor for the Knights.
There's Herring. Difficult squirmy move inside, and coming in from behind was Jawato to save the day for CLS. Watch him come in from the weak side position. Medayat. Herring. Throwing it out of bounds. Wow.
That was a great hard hedge. Great hard hedge by John Fields there. He realizes that Furman is not a scorer. Hard hedge right on Herring. Made him pass it to the non-scorer, and there's a turnover.
Yeah, Furman.
If you're Doug Herring, you have to take that short jump shot, because you're not going to get anything from Nugroho from that distance, especially in this type of a situation.
So that gives you the confidence of Coach Rowson starting the second quarter with his subs. Look at that defense. It's like almost like a 1-2-2 short. Oh, and somehow Alexander finally, you can see Fields was blocked out. He had no idea where the ball was.
And, so far 50-50 ball, second chance points going the way of the Slingers.
8-point lead now for Singapore. Hidayat with the ball. Sandwich and forcing him into the, you can see what Coach Neo was arguing about. He's saying my player was pushed into him by Maxi Esho. Doesn't matter, so the foul will go on Desmond O. That would be the first one on him. First team foul for Singapore in this very young second quarter. Post up move, down low. Oh, finding the open man. Nice job by Herring to find the cutter. 31-25. Off the dribble, Larry Liu, and there was a whistle, a traveling call, and so a turnover for Singapore. Shuffling his feet was Liu.
Yeah, and a little anxious, a little eager there. I'd love to see them get another touch to John Fields or Xavier Alexander attacking the ring. Xavier Alexander 4-7, quietly efficient right now. 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 rebounds to start this game.
Here's Herring. He's got 10. Or check that, he's got 8. Whistle away from the ball. Somebody's knocked down an offensive foul.
That's going to go against Hidayat, pushed off against Desmond O. So the pesky defense of Desmond paying off, getting them another possession.
He just has such good reactions. He's not fast. He's 32 years old. He doesn't even have a quick first step. He just knows. He's one of these guys that has the experience, the great anticipation that time. Hidayat, a foul out of frustration. Alexander, Fields in front of him with the screen. Over to Jaron Young, and you can see that coming a mile away, guys.
And this is the play they've ran multiple times this year where they ball screen at the top, set a back screen on the weak side of the wing there, and Jaron Young goes over the top for the alley-oop.
Dump pass over to Maxi Esho. Alexander on him, overcomes Fields to provide the help. Hidayat thought about it, left-hand dribble, taking the ball to the house, throws it away. Last touch by CLS, and another turnover, so Singapore will get it back.
And I like the late double by John Fields. Does not commit too early. Waits for the guy posting up. That time Maxi Esho making his move. Also on the penetration by Hidayat. So perfect timing on the double by John Fields.
So Singapore stretching the lead to 8. Alexander with Yu camped out on the left-hand side. Fields with the screen. Fields stays outside. Catch and shoot by Ung Han Bin is off the mark. Herring with the board. Back he comes patiently. No urgency for CLS. I mean, Herring now. Kick way back outside. Good ball movement. Esho. Still Esho. Alexander on him. Inside it goes on the floor, and another turnover. Thrown away. Coming up with it is Young. He's got open court. Alexander to his left. Wide open look for Larry Liu for 3. Off the mark. Rebound fought for and controlled by John Fields. Gets his own rebound. It's tied up. Let's see where the possession arrow is going to go for Singapore.
That's the energy of John Fields there, getting another possession for Singapore. What effort on that second jump to secure it and come back to get that basketball and offensive rebound.
Great timing by Watkins down low as he is successful tying him up. So good job of coming back from adversity that time. Watch, it looked like Watkins was out of the play. Coming right back in at the possession arrow, unfortunately for them going to Singapore. So a fresh 14 on the clock for them. Young, around one screen, over to Ung Han Bin. Larry Liu on that left-hand side. Alexander will take the ball to the house, and what do we have here? A foul, and that will go on Maxi Esho.
And Chuck, the big difference here, I feel, is that unlike Game 4, it's the Slingers who are putting a lot of pressure on the defense of the Knights by attacking the basket, also attacking in transition. 10-6 advantage by the Slingers in terms of fast break points, and also, we mentioned earlier, inside points in favor of the Slingers.
Yeah, they're doing that almost every time. You can bet if we know if the coaching staff knows it as well.
Piggybacking on that, this is going to be their 10th and 11th free throw compared to CLS's 1. And I think a story point that we need to start talking about is Maxi Esho has not scored in this game yet. The import MVP nominee, probably the most talented offensive player on CLS, only 3 shots, 0 points to this point in the game.
Yeah, they are focusing on him. You can see Alexander is on him, and every time he gets a step on Alexander, over comes John Fields, and the rotation is on the ball for Singapore. They're doing a great job of switching so far, guys. Herring down that left-hand side. He's got Esho up top, down low. Oh boy, he got a step on Fields that time. Fields cannot recover it, but doesn't matter. Watkins fighting for position underneath, and Fields is going to get the foul, and that'll be 2 on John.
Very poor choice there by Jaron Young. John Fields is walled up. Jaron Young did not have to reach in there. This is going to be a tough finish for Daryl Watkins, and he bails him out with a little reach in there. No need for that foul.
In fact, that is Jaron Young, and that will be 3 on him.
And you know, for the Knights, that's exactly the ploy I'm going to go to with Maxi Escher not playing his game so far. Make the defense react, force them to help out inside, get Daryl Watkins going, and hopefully that'll open things up for Maxi Escher.
So they're going to have to get Jaron Young out of there with those 3 fouls. So not a very good first half for Jaron Young. Singapore doing it anyway. 9-point lead, and the crowd letting Watkins have it. 1 out of 2. Alexander with the board. 9-point lead with under 6 minutes to play here for Singapore. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. And a throwaway by Alexander, and taking it to the house the other way is Jawado emphatically.
He has been the X factor of the CLS Knights so far. He's keeping them in the game with the energy. He's playing with them both ends.
So the lead trimmed to 7. Remember, Young not in the game with those 3 fouls. Screen offered up by Fields, getting it back to him. Good pursuit there by Esho. And another stepping out of bounds there. Larry Liu now with a couple of turnovers, and really, I mean, these turnovers for the Slingers are coming in streaks.
And you said it, Chuck, this has been the Achilles heels. They get that a little bit of separation, they get 10-point separation, all of a sudden they turn the ball over 2 or 3 times, and now it's a 7-point game again. They have to take care of that basketball, especially when they get that big separation that they've worked so hard for.
Now the pass, what we've seen when Singapore does that, the 3 ball comes out for the Knights, so let's see if history repeats itself. Long way long back in the game. Baseball pass over, now up top is Jawado. Delvin Go checking back into the game. Herring on the right-hand side, down low it goes to Watkins. Watkins bumping, grinding, turning, firing, foul. That'll be on Fields, that'll be 2 on him.
And, you know, same ploy once again, get Daryl Watkins isolated on one side against John Fields. Hope for them to go single coverage and then draw the foul against Fields.
3rd team foul on Singapore, 2 on Fields, 3 on Young. So fouls starting to become an issue on the other side of the ball. Herring with 2. And that's about it.
Great in-game adjustments by Coach Relson. Obviously, Maxi Escher isn't working right now, so he's going to a different option. He's going to option B, option C, and it's been working these last 3 or 4 minutes. So great in-game adjustments by him.
So just to make it a 5-point game, Singapore has led by as many as 12. And Watkins doing his job, hitting 2 of 2. Checking into the game of the X factor, we've talked about him, Russell Lowe.
Now this is a crucial point in the game here for the Slingers. If Russell Lowe can give quality minutes, just continue to give them some separation here, just enough time for Fields or Jaron Young to come back in.
They would like to set Young for the rest of the half, no doubt about that, and somehow, with the defense coalescing around him, Young lets it go on the finger roll for 2.
Xavier Alexander willing his way to a 7-point lead here with 13 points and 5 of 8. What a fantastic finish over the top of Watkins there.
Long way long, gives it up to Watkins, but they foul before that, and that'll go on Russell Lowe. Team foul number 4 on Singapore, so 1 more, and CLS will be in the bonus with 4:40 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Singapore doing a little bit better job, gentlemen, of coming out on the 3. They're going to call a timeout right now, but do they have the personnel on the way that CLS is so good with the ball switches and rotating the ball on the outside? Do they have the personnel, really, the foot speed to roll over and cover these shooters as they shoot the 3, Scotty?
Well, this is the time where you expect the locals to really have to step up. In the games that Singapore has won, the bench has really stepped up. They've averaged about 17 points per game in their win. So this is the time where you need Russell Lowe, Larry Liu, and even Desmondo, as well as Delvin Go, to really step up for the Slingers.
On the other side of the ball, Coach Rowson calmly, collectively went ahead and went with his subs, Scotty McKinnon. Went ahead and took his lumps early on at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. They went down by as many as 9-10, but bided his time. Young picks up a foul, his 3rd. John Fields picks up a foul, his 2nd, and before you know it, a couple of turnovers, bam, Knights right back in it.
Yeah, and he's a fearless coach. He's not afraid to go deep into his bench and give guys certain chances. And what can you say about the X factor, Brandon Jawado right now? 12 points. He has kept them, single-handedly kept them in this basketball game. When you talk about Watkins and Esho only having 5 points combined, Brandon Jawado's done a really good job in this first half to keep them in reach with the Singapore Slingers.
Alexander with 13 for Singapore, Young with 7. Fields has contributed with 5 points, but again with those 2 fouls. So a little bit of concern. We got a lot of contributions from the local guys early on in the game for the Slingers guys, Delvin Go and Larry Liu, but nothing since then.
And what you like, just going back to the point of Jawato, what you like about Jawato is that he gives you so many things. He can hurt you from the inside, hurt you from the outside, plays the passing lanes extremely well, and also plays great defense on the wing.
I guess what we're saying, guys, is no lead is safe here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're Singapore, you got a 12-point lead.
Well
I mean, that can be gone in a heartbeat, and has been. So now the lead trimmed to 7 with 4:39 to go here in the second quarter. Wong Wei Long dribbling out on top. Desmond O on him. He brushes past Desmond O, backs it up, back outside to Watkins. Turns it over. Herring catch and shoot from Threesville. Is going to be well short on that. Loose ball on the floor, picked up by Desmond O. Opportunity now for Singapore. Alexander, still Alexander. Kick back outside. Rotating over, wide open is Russell Lowe, but a little bit out of his range. Alexander will try and wheel and deal on the inside, loses the ball. Picked up by who? It'll be Herring coming out of the pack. Herring, one guy to beat, gets the ball off to Wong Wei Long. Wei Long kick back outside. Herring, who didn't take this wide open shot. Jawato will, though. Fires up a long three. He's going to be short with it as well. Alexander with the rebound.
And Brandon Jawato should have shot that first one. He had a great catch transition three there. He took his time, put a dribble into it. When he should have shot the first one, it would have been golden.
So both these teams in a little bit of a slump now as far as their shooting goes. Alexander reaches over, wide open look for Larry Liu. Left-hand side going to be well short. And out of bounds it goes, luckily for Singapore. Touched by Douglas Herring, and Larry Liu can't be pleased with that last effort.
Well, that was a good pass there on the part of Alexander, but for Larry, you just have to stick with it. Get your feet squared, get your stroke set up, and just launch it with confidence.
Now, bad news for the Slingers. Good news, they get the ball back. Bad news, 5 seconds, and Larry, check that. Delvin Go will go out of the game. Ung Han Bin will come back in, so 5 seconds in which to make something positive happen with this possession. Alexander, oh boy, gang tackled outside, no call. 24-second violation. CLS will take the ball back.
Great defense by CLS there, contesting the three, made him put him down, and they just ran out of time there in the 24-second shot. The thing that Singapore has to do right now, they need serviceable minutes from Russell Lowe, and it's Xavier and 4 locals. They need to try and keep this lead. They don't want CLS to go on a run.
Singapore would dearly love to just keep the same team out on the floor, maybe substitute a couple more locals in and out of the game for these last 3:33 so that Fields and, more importantly, Young does not pick up another foul. So that's the plan right now. And Rowson, obviously knowing that, will try and take advantage. Let's see if he attacks right away.
Right away. I'm going exclusively to Daryl Watkins here in the post. Probably straight up or off a baseline screen.
Herring gets a step on the baseline, up and in. Right around number 32 for Singapore, Russell Lowe.
That's also because Russell Lowe is too preoccupied defending Daryl Watkins. When Doug Herring got Larry Liu beat, it was an easy layup for him.
37-32, the score should read. It's a 5-point game. So mix up there in the graphics. We'll sort that out. Lowe off the dribble, around the screen, spin move inside, turns, fires one hand, wild looking shot off the mark. One and out, Maxi Esho with the ball. He'll slow it up. Doug Herring with the ball, so opportunity here now for CLS to take control of this game a little bit. Reverse the momentum inside, just like that.
With John Fields on the bench there's 2 attacks, no rim protector. The defensive player on the bench with 2 fouls. Daryl Watkins with a dunk, the possession before, Herring with the finish at the rim. No one there on the help side protecting the rim with John Fields sitting on the bench with 2 fouls.
So timeout Singapore. The score is 37-34. They're hanging on for dear life. They'd love to go in the locker room with the lead, but little bounce pass inside. Great vision by Doug Herring. They knew what was coming right on. Look at this. There's your separation right there. Nothing Russell Lowe could do. In fact, it was news to him when the pass came through. Larry Liu mismatch there on the height aspect of the game, or the play.
And also, Chuck, because you have Jawato on the far corner, there's no choice for Ung Han Bin to help out because he's got to stay home, and Jawato has already hit, I believe, 2 triples make it 1 triple in the game.
So let's see if Singapore sticks with the game plan and does not bring John Fields in. You can bet that Jaron Young will be Velcroed to the bench, but what do you guys do? I mean, you can't continue to get beat downstairs like this time and time again. It's not going to end well.
If I'm Coach Neal, I'm risking John Fields inside the paint. Tell him just to keep his hands up, just be a big body in the paint. Just don't allow those easy passes down into Watkins.
So Herring, the only one with any sort of semblance of foul trouble on the other side of the ball. He's got 2, but he's a guard, so able to avoid contact a little bit more than somebody like John Fields. They will stick with plan A. John Fields still on the bench. So Coach Nyo rolling the dice and hoping that his locals can come through with him. Russell Lowe to inbound and getting the ball off to Alexander. Alexander magnificent as usual here in the first half, leading all scorers on the floor with 13. Larry Liu back outside and Desmond O injected back into the game. Look how far Singapore away from the basket. Let's see if they coalesce bound. Alexander trying to take on 3 players at one time. They can, and a foul.
I would love to see Delvin Go get involved in this game again. He had 4 of 5, 9 points in the first 5 minutes of this game. He hasn't taken a shot again. He's just kind of become the invisible man. He needs to be active, especially with Fields and Young on the bench right now. He has to be a scorer.
Oh, that was Delvin Go with the push. So it will be CLS ball, and they are in the bonus right now. 15 foul on Singapore, so chance for the Knights to creep to within 1.
And you notice also how CLS so methodical, did not panic despite the big advantage, or more than about a 8 to 10 point advantage by the Slingers. Just methodically chipped away at that lead. And right now, Jawata with a chance to bring it down to single digit.
Yeah, more importantly, stopping the clock at 2:26. So also favors the CLS Knights due to the fact that they have a stronger lineup in the game at the moment. So Singapore will try and grit it out for the next 2:26. But every time Xavier Alexander gets the ball, gentlemen, 3 or 4 blue shirts just coalesce right on. It's going to be very, very difficult sailing for the Slingers if they're going to go with this kind of a lineup here with the last 2:20. But we'll see. Desmond O, long way long on him. Wide open look for Larry Liu. Fallback jumper is going to miss it. Rebound, Delvin Go up, can't hit it. Follow, yes!
Delvin Go on cue. Offensive board for 6th, 11th point. He needs to be aggressive around that rim with Brandon Jawado, who's 30 pounds lighter than him, guarding him.
Nice job by Larry Liu and Alexander to screen Watkins out of it. Well, mismatch right here. Larry Liu going against Watkins. He loses it right in the lane, picking it up by Russell Lowe. Back down the court it goes to Desmond O, wide open look downstairs, the reverse in for Delvin Go.
How about the pass there from Desmond O? That's exactly the answer that the Singapore Slingers needed just to get them some more separation.
Well, just when we were saying the locals had not really produced since the first 3 or 4 minutes, threading the needle downstairs, Desmond O, and unbeknownst to Watkins, sneaking up behind, controlling the baseline, sensing the presence of both Esho and Watkins, did the only thing he could do, Scotty, the little reverse off the glass.
And you said it, Chuck. What luck the local was going to step up for Singapore, and it's been Delvin Go. 13.6 rebounds, 6 of 8, and he needs to continue to attack. He cannot go invisible. He's too important for this basketball team on the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball.
And great pass also there by Desmond O. Great recognition by him as he forayed into the lane. He caught the attention of a couple bigs, and that allowed Desmond O to get some space behind him, and you saw the results.
I know if you're Delvin Go, you have no business staying outside 15 feet from the basket. You just have to be active inside. Try to go for those loose balls. Try to out-rebound or out-box out Brandon Jawato. Just make yourself useful inside the paint.
Well, just in the nick of time for the Slingers. They're still 145 and eternity, or 147. They put a couple more seconds on the clock, but what that allows them to do is keep John Fields on the bench and try and grit it out for the rest of this half and hopefully go into the dressing room with some sort of a lead.
And you said it, Chuck, when John Fields went to the bench, it was a 7-point game. Now it's a 6-point game. Singapore's done a really good job of keeping those 4 locals on the floor and keeping that separation.
Okay, let's see if it's Maxi Esho time for the CLS. Certainly getting in his territory. Herring working against Liu. You've done a pretty credible job. Ooh, crunching screen there by Watkins, and there is a foul. Might be Delvin Go on the trip. If it is for Go, that will be number 2 on him.
And you see off the timeout, Coach Brian Rosam really trying to set up Maxi Escher just to get him into the flow of things, because I believe he's still scoreless in the game so far.
Wow, Maxi Esho, I mean, he averages 20, and you can bet that he will be well past that once the game is finished. Wearing the multicolor, look at the shoes on Maxi Esho, guys. 1 black, 1 white. So Esho will get a chance to do it from the line. Remember, Singapore or CLS in the bonus. 16 foul on the Slingers.
I like that call by Brian Relson as well. He had Brandon Jawato set the ball screen. Delvin Go, the slowest feet on Singapore's team, is guarding him. He has to switch out, and all of a sudden, Esho has a direct line drive to that rim.
Well, I'll tell you, I was looking at Maxi Esho, guys, in the warm-ups, and he was canning every shot. He was unconscious.
Didn't miss.
0 of 2. Delvin Go. Don't want him dribbling. Gives the ball off to Alexander. Opportunity here for the Slingers as they dodge the bullet. Alexander up top. Esho coming out to meet him. Alexander left-hand dribble over to the left side. Desmond O, yes, gets away from his defender. Can't get it to finish. So 1 and out and a foul. Reach in by Desmond O. A little bit of frustration there by Desmond.
Yeah, not a smart foul there. Missed the shot, but you cannot compound the mistake with another one. Now you're going to send a better free throw shooter than Maxi Esho to the line and Darryl Watkins.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got to make that shot. I think Desmond O was had his peripheral vision zeroed in on Maxi Esho that time. So frustrating. Yeah, I hear you, MJ. Can't say it, but I hear you.
And that's the cardinal sin in basketball, compound mistakes. If you make a mistake at one end, you never want to do it back-to-back on the other end.
Boy, third straight miss by the CLS Knights at the line. Watkins this time, a villain. And 1:19 to go here in a raucous game. If you're a basketball purist, Marco, not sort of I mean, it's been sloppy at times, let's put it that way.
Well, I think if you're the Singapore Slingers, you'd be happy with that type of a pace here in the second quarter. So far, they've outscored the Knights 14-12 or 14-13, but that low-scoring second quarter is just to the tune of Coach Neo.
So zeroing in on the 1 minute mark. Delvin Go, one bounce, waits for traffic to come across, can't get that to fall. Nice job of sealing it off by Watkins, and back comes Singapore. Wong Wei Long off to the races, holds it up, gives it over to Esho. Esho, knocking one player. Wow, no foul at all. So 41-38, three-point game. Maxi Esho would not be denied. Alexander in the lane now. Hop step, loses it out of bounds. Last touch by CLS.
And what I liked about Maxi Esho there was he was assertive. He was aggressive. He went to the rim and he said, someone get in front of me and someone stop me. And that's what you need your world import MVP to do, to put his head down and say, this is my basketball team. I'm the leader. We're either going to win or lose on my hand.
And he did just that. There's a hand popping in behind by Esho, the guy you talked about, Ung Han Bin. Alexander with 35 and change to go here. 12 on the shot clock. Ung Han Bin lets one defender crash by him and hits the three. Just in the nick of time again. Ung Han Bin, his first bucket of the half.
That's a nice find there by Alexander. Miscommunication on the two guys on Alexander. Good find by the MVP.
Herring. 14 to go. Shot clock off. They spread it out. Ung Han Bin on him. Larry Liu checked that. Oh boy, got the separation that time. Gives it off to Watkins with the clutch. 2.2 to go.
Time and time again, Doug Herring has made that play, and he has made the defense pay with those types of penetrations.
So Singapore getting it done with their two big guns on the bench, or two of them anyway. They hold on for dear life. They take the 44-40 lead into the dressing room at the halftime. We'll be right back with our famous ABL halftime show. Marco Benitez, Chuck Schreiner, Scotty McKinnon here when we return. Welcome back to the OCBC Arena, ladies and gentlemen. 44-40 in favor of the Singapore Slingers over the CLS Knights. This is Game 5. This is for all the marbles here for the ABL Championships 2018-2019. As we look at some of the fans here, they have been treated to maybe not a classically well-played game, gentlemen, but a game nevertheless has been exciting from start to finish. And Scotty, let's start with you. What has Singapore done right in this game?
Well, Singapore's ability to control the paint. They've out-rebounded CLS 27-15. They have 13 offensive rebounds to 4. They have 28 points in the paint to 22. 14 second chance points to 6. So what I'm trying to say is Singapore needs to continue to attack inside, outside.
Okay, Marco, on the other side of the ball, CLS, they've done a lot right.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're Coach Brian Rosum, you look at the positives. You have three guys in double figures, talking about Watkins, Herring, and Jawato, and you have your number one player in Maxi Esho only with 2 points. So you expect Esho to get his numbers in the second half, especially with the defense keyed in on Darryl Watkins. So hopefully things will pick up for you. So you're only down by 4 points. You've got a lot of composure. You've got a good point guard in Doug Herring, and you still have Maxi Esho raring to go in the second half.
Okay, foul situations. Jaron Young with 3, John Fields with 2. Singapore, Scotty sort of dodged a bullet that second quarter.
Yeah, and you're going to flip that as a positive for your Coach Neo and Coach Johnson. Young and Fields spent the last 5 minutes on the bench in that second quarter, and you're still at 4 points. So when you bring them them back in. That momentum's going to get back, and hopefully they can get back into the rhythm that they were in the first half.
Okay, and the other side of the ball, not too much worry for CLS either, Marco, because they spent their time with, Coach Rouse did a good job of interjecting different players into the game, and they never really lost contact in the ball. He's got to feel pretty confident at the moment now, especially playing away, enemy territory, only down by 4.5.
And you know, if you're Coach Brian Rossum, you go back to that first game where you came out of the gates in the second half, in the third quarter, outscoring Singapore 25-12, and you're going to draw from that experience and hopefully come out with more energy, get those 50-50 balls, get those second chance points, and get your MVP, talking about Maxi Esho, into the game and into the flow of things in the second half.
Okay, as we're looking at first half highlights right here, Singapore in white, that was John Fields off the dribble. And Doug Herring, what a marvelous first half he had. And that guy has been a thorn in the side of Singapore ever since they came here a long time ago in January, averaging 15.5 points against the Slingers. He's almost put those numbers up, Scotty, in the first half.
Well, what I love about Brandon Jawado is his fearlessness. He is not afraid of the moment, and he is owning it right now. 13 points, 5 of 8, but every shot he takes is confident. You saw it in the warm-up. Guys dancing. The guy's excited to play a game that means something.
Yeah, they desperately need Jaron Young. Singapore's look to steal there. Jawado again on the break, talking about the guy that has been the thorn in the side of Singapore. There he is on the break for 2 of his first half, 13 points. Xavier Alexander, as you said, Scotty, finding a way, willing it at that time. Remember the Knights had almost drawn level with the Slingers and needing desperately a bucket, needing some leadership, and their big man steps up and gives it to him.
And one thing, if you're the Knights, you have to take care of the basketball a lot better in the second half. You have 7 turnovers in the first half, and you have to continue to be more consistent hitting that 3-point shot. You're in a good place, about 4 triples in the game. Hopefully your rhythm will get back in the second half.
Okay, here are some of the stats: 11 assists to 6, rebounds 27-15. Scotty alluded to that. Field goals, both teams in the 40s. I think because of the rebounds, CLS has shot 48% to 42 for Singapore, but because of the rebound differential, Singapore owning the league. The bench boys, I don't know what they're talking about there. Singapore 9 turnovers to 7. Singapore throughout this series, guys, has made more turnovers than CLS.
Yeah, they need to take care of the basketball. And the poor thing for Singapore is they've turned it over the wrong times. They got that separation of 10 points, 2 or 3 turnovers, now it's back down to 5. Get a separation to 8, 1 or 2 turnovers, now transition points, transition 3, it's back down to 4 points. So they can't turn the ball over at opportune times for CLS.
Okay, so Delvin Go, he has been a monster this first half. They needed him right now to step up, and that's exactly what he's done. Here's some highlights of him in the first half. Look at him, never giving up on the ball, up and over. I mean, great peripheral vision there over the right shoulder. Here he is again, fighting for position underneath, and really asserting himself after 3 so-so games by his standards. A brilliant first game, but they've sort of disappeared games 2, 3, and 4, and I'm sure that they talked about that. We talked about it before the game in the interviews with Xavier Alexander. His eyes lit up when I said, we need Delvin Go to step up, and he said, we certainly do, and he's done that the first half.
Yeah, I'm excited for Delvin to continue with this maturation process, because I don't think he realizes how good he is, and he's starting to realize that he is a local MVP candidate. On 13 points, 6 and 9, and 7 rebounds in the first half, no one can match up with him from that local position in this league. No one is 6'6", no one is 240 pounds, and when he continues to attack, he is such an assertive and good basketball player.
The song has only been halfway sung, ladies and gentlemen, 44-40. We thought that they would be this close, so let's take a look at Xavier Alexander here. There he is, a swooping dunk over the top, and he can really elevate. We saw this, watch him again. Another 2 of his 13. What great hang time he has. And whenever Singapore Slingers have needed a bucket, they've needed it early and often here in this game because CLS just keeps coming back at them. Guys, I want to shift gears just a little bit. What about the 3-point shooting of CLS? Critical, would you agree, in the second half?
Well, I think it's going to be critical for them, especially to open up the floor for Darryl Watkins and the penetrations of Maxi Esho. And just going back to Xavier Alexander, what more can you ask from Alexander? 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, pretty much doing everything an MVP is supposed to do.
Okay, so that's pretty much wrapping it up here at the OCBC Arena. And match 1 highlights we've got for you coming up in just a minute. And let's take a look at that. Here we are, Herring on the jumper. 10 points, 3 assists in this game. And there is off the miss right there, Herring. He is everywhere. 10 points, 3 assists. And here he is getting off on the defender, using that left shoulder to good effect. Douglas Herring averaged over 15 points a game during the season. Averaged over 15 points a game, almost identical stats against the Slingers as he had in the regular season. But, great players step up at great times. And, an old saying my old high school coach used to say, and that's as far as I got my basketball career, best players have the best games against the best teams, and that's what we're looking at tonight. So obviously we're looking at Herring, we're looking at Alexander, we're looking at Fields, we're looking at Maxi Esho. You made a good point, Marco Benitez. I still think that we have not heard the best from Maxi Esho in the second half. I'm sure that he's going to start lighting it up at any time.
And, you know, as well as Doug Herring, I think he will take more and more control of this basketball game. They're going to need him to penetrate and dish down to Daryl Watkins or possibly Maxi Esho, or kick out to their outside shooters and really try to put his imprint more in this second half.
Okay, we've got all to play for in the second half. We'll be back for third quarter action and more stuff on our halftime show here at the OCBC Arena. If you've been lost somewhere, 44-40 in favor of Singapore over the CLS Knights. Game 5 here for all the marbles, ABL Championships 218-219 when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The bench of the Singapore Slingers, a little bit apprehensive as they should be, and who wouldn't be. Game 5 of the ABL Championships. Singapore Slingers against the CLS Knights, 44-40. The home team Slingers nursing this 4-point lead, but it hasn't been without its trepidations. They jumped out to a 9-point lead. In fact, we're up 9-0. In fact, we're up 12-2. But back came storming CLS Knights behind the play of Douglas Herring and others. Watkins also laying it down the gauntlet on John Fields in the first half, outscoring him 10-2. And of course the play by Brandon Jawado, who has always been, as we said, a nemesis for the Singapore Slingers. On the other side of the ball, Xavier Alexander doing what the MVP of the team and the league should do, laying it down with 13 points. Jaron Young in an uneven half for him, 7 points, but in a big butt, 3 fouls. We'll see if they start him in the third quarter, and they do. Chuck Schreiner along with Marco Benitez and my buddy Scott McKinnon. And guys, tell you what, maybe, I don't know, we thought it was going to be close. Maybe the game has been a little bit too sloppy. Maybe just my expectations are through the roof, of course. But tell you what, anybody's game.
Oh yeah, definitely. No patterns emerging as of yet. But one thing is important here for the Slingers. They've got to get John Fields going. Only with 7 points, I believe, in the ball game, and he really has been, or make that 5 points rather, and has been saddled with foul trouble. Currently, he's been outplayed by Daryl Watkins, and either one of them has been the barometer for wins and losses.
And we have seen what happens when Fields gets outplayed by Watkins. Boy, scrum on the floor, and let's see, nice ball movement. Watkins with the 8 or 9 footer, misses it. Jaron Young back into the game. Yeah, Watkins had a monster 28-point, 16-rebound game the other night, and that Game 4 win by CLS. He also outplayed Fields in Game 1, which also resulted in a win by CLS. So the 2 games Fields has outplayed Watkins. Oh boy, what do we have here? Whistle, was it away from the ball, or is that going to be on Fields? If it is, that will be 3 on him, a push underneath.
Well, I think they call it a 3-second violation.
3-second violation, okay, so away we go. Meanwhile, there's a game going on. Jawado preambulating through the lane. Strong move to the basket, counted in 1. Maxi Esho.
That's a really good sign for the CLS Knights starting the second half. Max Esho puts his head down, direct line drive, the body control to finish with that right hand in the and 1, and 4 points now with a foul shot to start this second half and get himself back feeling good about his ability to attack the rim and shoot the basketball.
And that's exactly what he did a couple minutes before the halftime, if you remember, guys. Second time he's been like a bulldozer in the 3-point play, so all of a sudden the lead is trimmed to 1. So back come the Slingers, and Alexander coming at you from left to right, getting the ball over to Jaron Young. Back screen by Fields, off the mark again, so 0 for 2 is Young to open up the third quarter.
That's back-to-back jumpers for Jaron Young. He's got to be more aggressive. And, you know, they only have a slight advantage in terms of points in the paint.
Mismatch there. They couldn't quite take advantage. There's Esho again coming out the body up against him as Delvin Go. Backup jumper by Esho.
You said it, Chuck. He just needed a couple to get going, and now he's got 7 points on 3 of 6, and you can see him walking back, a little hop in his step now.
Nice with the lead. They've led a couple times during the game. Here's John Fields. One-way traffic for him. He's going to put it in. Rim runner there by John Fields, so 46-45 Slingers.
That's what you like about Jaron Young, also using his athleticism to get above the rim, get that tip in going.
Herring, left hand. Fields comes out to meet him. Esho camped out on the left-hand side. There's Watkins has the mismatch. Left side, long, way off the mark. That time Fields with the rebound. Back comes Alexander pushing it. Young way off to the left, and a reach-in foul, and one!
When you talk about leadership, when you talked about captaincy, when you talk about MVP, there's one name that comes to mind for me, and it's Xavier Alexander. 15 points, puts his head down, Euro step, and one. And look at that body control to get the ball up on the rim and give it a chance to go in.
Yeah, Mexiesho with his second foul. Watch it right here. Now from this point, from right here, it becomes all downhill, and everybody is chasing him now. And Alexander doing what he does, 48-45.
Marco made a really good point in the first half about timely possessions, timely buckets. CLS has just gone on a roll. They got the lead for the first time in the second half here. Singapore led for 18 minutes in the first half, and right when they need a bucket, who gets it? Xavier Alexander.
Yeah, back to square one. 4-point lead at the end of the half, 4-point lead again. Herring, Larry Liu on him, dumping the ball down, oh boy. And you got to let him go, somehow getting over the top. Nice job by Herring to catch Watkins as he gets separation from Fields. So back to a 2-point game. Fields, left hand, bumping, grinding inside, can't get the ball. Follow again, yes. Who else? Delvin, go again.
We talked about Delvin go, most effective inside the paint, getting those second chance opportunities. No reason for him to stay outside. Just keep on mixing it up and get those putbacks.
Back to a 4-point lead. Herring again on loose, working that right side. Watkins getting away from Fields. Long way long, nothing there. Running into the screen was Young. Kick back outside, Jawado. Delvin go. Back up jumper, off balance. Won't make that one. Alexander off to the races. He's got Liu off to his left. He's going to give it to Fields. Fields will finish it up. Yeah.
And this is a great thing for John Fields. Marco made a great point, barometer. John Fields and Darryl Watkins are the barometer. For him to get a basket in the transition like that is a great thing going forward.
In transition is right. That's where John Fields is at his best. Herring backing it up. Watkins there to supply the screen. Now they switch. Mismatch inside Liu and Watkins. Liu gets backed up and throws the ball in the lane. Alexander with the steal. Young's ahead of them. Still Alexander loses it and saved off the leg of Wong Wei Long. It'll be Singapore ball.
You know, great things happen whenever you have Xavier Alexander coming downhill. So whenever he has the opportunity, he's got to attack. There's nobody there on the defense of the night that can stop him going downhill.
Little bit slow, and Mexiesho very lucky he did not get called for his third foul there. Around the picket fence comes Jaron Young, turns, one-handed jumper is going to be off the mark, and Esho cleans it up. Back comes Herring and company. They trail by 6:17 to go. Jumper right there, boy oh boy. Lid on the basket so far for CLS. Alexander, still Alexander hitting Fields. Fields, a finger roll for two.
There's John Fields in transition again with that rim run. And Singapore's made a real valiant effort to push the ball in transition out of their defense here to start this third quarter, and it's been successful.
That's where they are at their best now. Coach Rowson would say that CLS Knight is a quicker team, and I would not disagree with him. But whenever Xavier Alexander starts that fast break, he creates stuff for his teammates because you cannot let him go downhill like that. Watch John Fields, nobody picking him up at all in transition.
And you know, the couple of wins of the Slingers, they've outscored the Knights 13 fast break points, plus 13 in those wins that they've gotten in the series. So they have to continue putting pressure on the transition D of the Knights.
Now, same old thing. Let's see if it dogs Singapore again. They do get some separation in the score, guys, only to let it drip away again. And usually it's been Doug Herring that can supply from outside, but we got Mexiesho heating up a little bit. I wonder if they go to the 3-ball.
Yeah, and I think the next set that Brian Rowson runs is going to be some kind of ball screen action for Mexiesho, because he has a nice little rhythm going, and he is a dynamic scorer, especially because he can shoot that three with such proficiency to 42% this year.
CLS shooting themselves in the foot a couple times, guys. They've turned the ball over right in the middle of the lane. So they both had 7 turnovers. Sorry, Marco, 7 turnovers now. I think it's 10-7 in favor of Singapore on the differential between the turnovers as we look at Jaron Young.
So just to add to what Scotty was saying, if you're the Slingers, you just have to play good, honest D. You cannot gamble on those steals that like what John Fields did on the previous possession for Darryl Watkins. Play great defense and then continue to get good shot selection on your end of the floor.
Okay, so here we go, CLS ball. On the near side here, Wong Wei Long, token resistance on the full court. Jaron Young on Wong Wei Long. Herring holding up traffic there. Quick pass inside. Esho turns, looks, fires. Good.
What an up fake and step through for the dunk there. Length by length by length, Maxi Esho.
We said you're not going to keep him down very long. He had a disappointing first half, but coming storming back here in quarter number 3, 5:39 to go. Jaron Young, bounce pass and gives it away. 4th turnover now for Jaron Young, and look out over on the side. Now 5-on-4. Let's see if Wong Wei Long can take advantage of it. He pops through. Back out to Esho. Esho, no hesitation at all. Fires away the 3, no good. Out of the hands of Watkins, picked up by Delvin Gove. Now in the hands of Alexander. Down court it goes. Larry Liu from 3, fires, no good. Stepping in the lane and knocking it away, it will be CLS ball. Golden opportunity there for Singapore going by the wayside.
Slingers dodging a bullet as well. That was a good look for Maxi Esho. You think after he hit that layup, he would knock down that 3-point shot. So could have had a better shot here if you're the Slingers.
So they give the ball back to, it'll be CLS. 6-point lead by Singapore. It's been that type of game, 5-15. Crowd chanting defense. Wong Wei Long to check it into Herring. Larry Liu on Herring. He's done a credible job on him.
Wouldn't be surprised if they ran the same play.
And they keep going to that right side every single time. Herring still on him. Esho trying to force the issue here inside the lane. Loses it momentarily. Loses it to Alexander and then compounds it. Scotty, just like you were saying, you foul, you lose a hand on the ball, you make a mistake, then you compound it by fouling.
Yeah, and Maxi Esho's animated the ref there because there were 3 or 4 reaches before he lost that basketball. And then for him to turn it over, he was very frustrated. Great pressure, like you said, Chuck, by the Slingers there.
Okay, so 3rd foul on Esho. So the worm will turn, as they say. Go with the screen. Larry Liu gets it over to Jaron Young. Young around one screen. He is due, slips inside the lane, gets it over to John Fields. John Fields, what a pass by Jaron Young.
And you like what the Slingers are doing, deliberately looking for their big man off the penetration. John Fields in the right place at the right time. Nice dime there by Jaron Young.
Let's see if those 3 fouls slows up Esho at all. Boy, a lot of contact going on between Herring and Liu. Post-up move. Stepping in is Alexander with the help. Nice job at Liu with the foul.
Douglas Herring is surprisingly very good in the post there. For a wiry guy, he's only about 6'1", probably 180, soaking wet. He does a really good job of using his hips and using his body to create separation and then step to the rim. It's really impressive skill, and not many guards can do that.
Yeah, Larry Liu owns 2 inches on him, 6'3", 183. So he will go to the line for a couple. Normally an excellent free throw shooter. Knights shot themselves in the foot at one point in the tail into the second half, or second quarter, guys. They missed 3 free throws in a row. Hits them both. So back to a 6-point game, 57-51.
So far the Knights have evened up the number of free throw attempts. Knights are right now 7 of 12, while the Slingers 8 of 12 in the game.
Go looking for cutters, nobody there. Turns the corner, fires it across to Larry Liu. Go again, off the dribble, still go. Takes the ball to the house and up and in. Wow.
Delvin Go, 15, 17 points now, but everything's at the rim.
Yeah.
The Slingers need to continue to attack the rim. The rebounding advantage is 36-18. Continue to go in the paint.
That was with the left hand, fellas. Herring over the top to Esho, and a foul. They're going to wave it off, but a foul will go on John Fields. I believe that will be 3 on him. If it is. No, Larry Liu. So sigh of relief for Singapore, and that will be 3 on Liu.
And you know, with the activity of Go in the paint, it's a 40 to 28 points in the paint advantage for the home squad, Chuck.
3 team fouls now on CLS, 2 on Singapore, or 4 CLS and 2 for Singapore. So far side, Jawado, he's been the invisible man here in the 3rd quarter. About time for Brandon time here in a minute. Wong Wei Long. Young on him. Watkins and Fields doing battle right now. Watkins turns the corner over the head. Nice job on the defensive end. Great seal by John Fields. Alexander, Larry Liu. Alexander again. Fields with the screen. Alexander thought about it. Back outside. Nice tight defense by CLS. A 3 by Alexander off the mark and jumping in and getting to the smallest guy on the court right there. Herring quickly getting it to Wong Wei Long. Inside. trying to turn the corner, a blocking foul, and that will go against John Fields. That will be 3 on him.
And that's possibly big Chuck, because 3 personal fouls. You can bet CLS will continue to go to Darryl Watkins. Another quick foul from Fields, and it's going to be back to the bench for him.
Yeah, 2 fouls so far on Watkins, so slight advantage there. But what a third quarter Fields has had. Remember, he had 5 points, so 11 now. They'll leave Fields in for the moment. And you're right, Marco. They go straight back at him, trying to turn the corner. Nice job on the help on the defense by Delvin. Go from behind Scotty. Back comes Young. One man to beat. Over the top. Can't get it to fall. Back in the hands of Fields. And a foul. Let's see who that goes against. Anxious moments here. Will it go on Herring?
Looks like Darryl Watkins got away with a foul on that one.
So Herring with 3, Esho with 3, Fields with 3 on the other side, along with Jaron Young with 3.
With 2:44 here left in the third quarter, this is an opportunity for Singapore to push it. They've only been able to push this lead to 8 or 10 points.
Yeah.
They've never got it to double digits, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and it always gets reeled back to 4. So this is a huge moment. If they can get this separation going in the third quarter, get up by 12, 13 points, that is a very positive thing moving forward.
They can play even Steven in the fourth quarter with only 10 minutes to go. If they can keep it to 10, 12 points. Scotty, very good point, but they've got to do it first. Alexander on the baseline. Up pops Jaron Young. Herring on him. Young thinking about it. Back outside to Ung Han Bin. Rotation over to Alexander. Catch and shoot for 3, no good. Vine for the rebound, and coming down with it is Jawada. Wong Wei Long pushing it.
That's back-to-back 3-point attempts there from Alexander. That's exactly what the Knights want him to take.
Herring in the lane. Out of bounds it goes. A little bit out of control. Doug Herring calling for the foul. Didn't get it. So costly turnover there with 2:22 to go for CLS. Alexander will control it down a little bit. Shift gears. Young off the dribble. Going to the right. Kicked away. It'll be Singapore ball. Watkins got the foot to it.
And Jaron Young's got 12 points and 7 assists right now, but everything he's kind of doing has a little bit of a degree of difficulty to it. It doesn't seem like it's coming easy to him. So I'd love to see him either get to the rim or make that decision and come off a down screen quickly.
Foul underneath. Let's see who that goes against. Oh boy, if that's going to be on Herring, that's going to be 4 on him. So their playmaker now with 4 fouls, and Coach Ralston has a decision to make with 2:04, Marco, to go in the third quarter.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with Sandy Corniawan, one of the guys off the bench, or even Hidayat, because Herring is too important for them to lose this early.
Right over to Young. Young on the reverse, no good. Down in a heap he goes, no foul. Back comes Herring. They're going to stay with him. Jawado off the dribble, knocked away by Jaron Young. Out of bounds it goes.
Spectacular athleticism by Jaron Young to chase down block to get it above the rim. Watch this, he times it perfectly. LeBron James-esque Jaron Young. My goodness. Defensive play of the game, no doubt about that. That runs it down to 154. Knights will have the ball with 17. Plenty of time left on the shot clock for them. Chance of defense going up again at the OCBC Arena.
And surprisingly, Coach Rosen keeping Herring in the game. He really, this is how important it is for them to score on this possession.
They really don't have any choice. There's that matchup again. Esho against Alexander, and Esho wins that one. Nice little drop step by him on the reverse. Pivot on the left foot, come back to the right.
What a fundamental basketball move right there by Maxi Esho to get him up with the pump fake and step through right underneath his arm.
Oh boy, another foul. That time that will go on Jawado, and he is livid. So Brandon Jawado now with 3. And the foul starting to pile up here for the CLS Knights here in the tail end of the third quarter. Actually 2 on Jawado.
And Marco, I agree with you. I was very surprised that Sandy Kinarawan has not come in yet. I don't think he can go Hidayat. I don't think you can go Wei Long and Hidayat, those 2 small guard lineups. So as soon as Herring picked up his 4th, Kinarawan jumped up on the bench and started warming up. And surprising he hasn't gotten the game yet, because 1 quick foul and wow, that's Herring done for the game. John Fields back on the bench now with 3 fouls, so they'll try and rest him the final minute, 30 seconds with Young at the line. Maybe he can stretch it to 10 as he misses the first one. He's just out of sorts today.
And don't forget, guys, he has a hamstring injury. So I was sort of listening to, he's not. That first step of his just isn't there, and I think CLS knows that, and they great anticipation by them to cut him off, but he just doesn't have the acceleration that he had when he was healthy. 1 of 2, so 7-point lead now for Singapore with under a minute 30 to go. Wong Wei Long working against John. Alexander there, almost losing it. Well, you're right, Marco, they're just staying with Herring, working against Larry Liu. Cross court, Wong Wei Long, high arc on the ball, way off the mark, but coming out of the scrum with it. And a jump ball, and I think possession arrow will go the way of Singapore. Checking into the game very quickly will be Desmond with 1:07 to go.
I think he's going to stay with the Knights with 1 second left on the shot clock.
Possession arrow I'm looking at the other way, but maybe they've already changed it. Let's see. Look at the possession arrow.
He's going to go to the Slingers.
Yeah, now Young will come out. Some good strategic decisions taken by the coaches, and Coach Ralston off the bench. I'll tell you what, the referees have had enough of his act.
And Herring's still in the game, so if I'm the Slingers, I'm attacking Doug Herring
right
on
away.
his possession.
Exactly. Alexander, let's see if they hunt him out. He will follow Larry Liu. Alexander is able to get around the corner, off balance shot there, the follow by Delvin Go. What timing by Delvin Go.
What a game for Delvin Go, 19 points, 11 rebounds, but that activity, the second jump on the tip in there, he's at the rim every single time a shot goes up.
Still Esho, jump step to the basket for 2, and they needed that.
Good answer there by Maxi Esho, but Slingers still up by 7 points. Possibly go for a 2-for-1, but Xavier Alexander slowing it down.
So 14 and about a 13 differential on shot clock and game clock, so a couple of possessions to go. Alexander will keep it, stepping through, and a foul, and who will that go against? I think that might be against Esho. If it's Esho, that's number 4 on him.
So good, Xavier Alexander. Once he puts his head down, comes downhill, uses that football carry, protects the basketball, and there's very little that the defense can do.
So on the blow-by past Esho, that will put Alexander at the line. That will stop the clock at 21 seconds.
And Xavier Alexander almost has a triple-double already. Not even done the third quarter. 18 points, 9 assists, and 10 rebounds. And it's those timely buckets. 21 seconds left in the quarter, chance to put them up 10. That's the separation they need.
Russell Lowe will go in. Fields will go out now, or will he? He comes back onto the court. Remember, Fields playing with 3 fouls. Let's see if they go straight at him. Fields 11 points, and he has pretty much fought Watkins to a draw.
So Cornyawan is also in for the night, but Herring stays on the floor, possibly for the last offensive possession.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have anybody else, I don't think, Marco. It's game 5 of the finals, and you just roll your dice and live with your decision.
And you talk about Brian Nelson being a player's coach. He has trust in Doug Herring that he has the basketball IQ not to pick up his 5th foul here with 21 seconds left in the quarter.
Okay, 10-point ball, as Scotty was alluding to. If Singapore could get into double figures, make it life very difficult for CLS in the 4th quarter. Herring taking his time as they spread it out. Liu on him, left hand, Herring in the lane, over to Watkins. Watkins knocked away, get it out of here. Singapore, wait a minute, a foul. Let's see who that goes on. Oh boy, John Fields with a foul. I think if it is, that would be, is that 4 on him?
No, just out of bounds.
Okay, out of bounds on Fields. Woof. Long 3. Oh my goodness, at the buzzer. Maxi Esho, or who is that, Watkins? Wow.
And just when you thought you got some separation,
my
triple
goodness,
at the buzzer.
Well, that could loom large, ladies and gentlemen. 65-58, just when it looked like the Slingers would take a double-digit lead going into the final 10 minutes. Watkins, the unlikeliest of heroes, cans a 3. Singapore by 7 points when we come back for the final 10 minutes of the season, maybe. Always overtime looms when we come back here at the OCBC Arena. We'll be right back. That was Watkins.
Okay. Opposition hits a premium headline $688. Give it up for Bar.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 65-58. As we check out the third quarter highlights, what a game it was in the third quarter. Remember, Singapore led 44-40. Right away, Maxi Esho going to work on the outside. The tip back in by Jaron Young. Over the top, getting behind Fields was Watkins. Watkins with 13 points. Check that. Watkins now with 15 points and only 1 foul. So getting slightly the better of his nemesis on the low blocks. Number 5, John Fields, who has 11, but he's saddled with 3 fouls. And there's Fields, who also came to life a little bit in the third quarter. He only had 5 in the second quarter. Tack on 6 to that. Get it out of here, says Jaron Young. What a defensive play. And the follow by the silent hero of this game so far, Delvin Go, leading all scorers with 19 big points. So here it is, guys. 10 minutes to go for the championship. Singapore with a slight lead, but very, very dangerous CLS team. Remember, Brendan, or check that, Doug Herring playing with 4 fouls. Gang rebounding there off the miss by Jawado. Alexander back with his Slingers. Jaron Young, somebody messed up a defensive assignment. And there's an easy foray to the basket.
That Watkins late to get to the paint. That was an easy dunk, as easy as any 2 points Jaron Young was going to get.
Esho from the outside. Esho, stop, pop from 3 field, nothing but net. Maxi Esho.
What a response he's had here in the second half. 7-11 for 15 points, and just silky smooth Maxi Esho.
Alexander, 7-point game now, 67-60. Young thought about it in the lane, rises, fires for 2, yes, and 1.
And that layup or that dunk by Jaron Young, getting him in the flow of the game. That was a great pull-up jumper from about 16 feet. Draws the foul as well.
Scotty,
Maxi Esho.
We've seen this during the year. He can take over a game. I mean, you know this as well as I do. You've seen him. He put up 37 points against CLS earlier on during the season. Watch this, finding the open man. Around the semi-screen there by Alexander, gets the separation and finishes it off, takes the contact.
And when Jaron Young simplifies the game for himself, it's off at 2 dribbles, it's 1 dribble to the rim dunk. He gets these spectacular plays, and he does them in bunches. And what a great start to this fourth quarter for Jaron Young.
Now, disaster brewing for CLS is now Esho with 4 fouls. So both Esho and Herring with 4 fouls. 10-point lead. Herring, right side again. Lou in his pocket. Screen thrown by Watkins. Here, roll off that. The little runner in the lane by Herring is good.
This is where Doug Herring will try to take over of this game, but they have to do it on the defensive end. So far, the Slingers have been executing perfectly.
See if they go straight at Maxi Esho, who is down low in that zone. Alexander, Young taking the ball to the basket on the reverse. 6 points in a row for Jaron Young.
And another direct line drive for Jaron Young, and the spectacular comes out of him doing the simple. What a beautiful move by Jaron Young.
Now you can do that. Remember, Esho can't really afford to provide the weak side help down there with the 4 fouls. Back outside, Watkins, does he have a number 3 in him? Herring, mismatch downstairs, but Fields comes over to help out. Good ball rotation. Cornel on from 3, no good. Right back in the hands of Herring, second chance attempt. Watkins has a mismatch against Alexander, rises over the top of him, and with predictable results, guys.
That's a big shot there from Darryl Watkins, just to keep it within single digits. But you know, he's been late twice to the paint. They talk about Darryl Watkins on that help side defense.
Lou. Ung Han Bin in the game right now. He thought about it. He's got Fields posted down low over to Alexander. Nobody picking him up. Alexander off the dribble.
And Chuck, you made a great point. Maxi Esho can't contest. He has to stay vertical there. He can't get up and risk getting a foul. And there's Xavier Alexander with another finish.
Herring with 4 fouls as well. He's got to be careful. No good. Boy, important possession. Back comes Young again. He has been the man in the fourth quarter. Whips it over to Fields. Fields outside to Ung Han Bin for 3. In and out.
Would have brought the house down.
It would have.
Momentum clearly on the side of the Slingers right now.
So deep sigh of relief for Esho and the boys. He's playing with 4. Here comes the screen. Alexander finds that. Esho from 3. Yeah, nothing but net.
He has got a feeling right now. 18 points and the nice little step back 3-pointer there off the dribble.
Alexander, Young camped out on the left-hand side, flashing across is Ung Han Bin. Opposite side, Larry Liu. Fields arrives on the scene. Entry pass to him, and he loses it immediately.
You know, the reason why they have Esho in the middle of that 2-3 zone is to protect him from foul trouble. So they have to get John Fields inside position and try to feed them the ball against Maxi Esho.
Boy, Doug Herring just uses Larry Liu that time, didn't he? The hesitation dribble at him, bringing the step up from Larry Liu and then just breezing past him, getting the contact on the way.
And Chuck, I think you make a great point there. Now is the time to switch Jaron Young onto him. Put Larry Liu. Larry Liu's done an admirable job. Jaron Young, last 6 minutes, championship game, game 5. He needs to be checking Doug Herring.
Herring, still Liu. Herring gets away and one.
And just as you say that, Scotty, and one play for Doug Herring. He heads to the line, possibly to cut it down to just 4 points.
Well, that certainly quiets the crowd momentarily, at least 74-69. And Herring a chance to bring it to within 4. That's the closest it's been in a while, and just using up Larry Liu. And I think that, you know, right now, I mean, Liu did a good job, but he is now out of the game with 5 fouls, so they're going to have to find another solution to stop the dribble penetration of Herring. Herring did a great job. And checking in now will be Delvin Go again. He has been the man for the Singapore Slingers, 19 points. So Liu, job well done, or as well as you can do on a guy of the stature of Herring. Herring again playing with 4 fouls. How courageous has he been, guys, in the last quarter?
And smart. Talk about basketball IQ. The reason they put the ball in his hand is because he's the smartest guy on the court, but not only offensively, to stay away from that foul for the last almost 10 minutes now.
So Slingers dodge a bullet there, only a 5-pointer. He misses the free throw, so stuck at 5. Wide open look. Ung Han Bin now for 3 is going to be way off the mark. Skying over the top right into the hands of Kernia Wong. Gets the ball off to Herring. Long pass downstairs for the alley-oop. There go.
Back-to-back baskets right now for the Knights. And, you know, I think that was a bad shot there on the part of Ung Han Bin. They did not even make an attempt to attack Maxi Esho inside.
Yeah, that's not what that's not how Singapore's got the lead. They've got the lead by attacking the basket, and you don't want to turn into a jump shooting team at this stage in the game, Scotty.
Yeah, and CLS falls into that zone to encourage them to shoot it from the outside. Singapore is winning the rebounding advantage 45-25. Delvin Go has 9 offensive rebounds himself. They have 19 total. Get the ball in the paint and get some touches. And again, 10-point game, back down to 3 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah, in retrospect, probably sticking with Larry Liu on Herring just a little bit too long. As Herring finally gets the breakthrough, a couple of possessions that he needs. So right now, 74-71, and where'd that 10-point lead go, fellas? Just as we said, CLS is always dangerous. They've been in this situation so many times. They've got the guns, even with 4 fouls. Maxi Esho, Doug Herring, they are the guys at the right moment for these, and really foul trouble at this point, who cares?
You know, something that the Knights have been good at, and they've proven game in and game out, is that they've been able to maintain their composure, did not panic, did not go for a home run, just went it possession by possession, chipped away at the lead. They've only been able to hit 6 triples in this game, which is below their 9 triple average. But still, they're in it with just down by 3 points.
Okay, there is Ung Han Bin. He has not had the night that he wishes he would have had as far as shooting goes. 3 points, he's got 1. But look for Singapore now to go back to basics. What has been true, tested and true for them, getting the ball either to Fields. Young, he was spectacular for a while. You got to keep beating the guy that brings you to the dance. So watch for that to go back to the way it was. Alexander right around one screen. He's going downhill again. Outlet pass stolen by Young. Great anticipation by him. Young again getting the ball over to Alexander. Alexander reverse. Ball in the air. Fields contesting it. Young coming over from the far position to get it off the rim. Spot forward. Yes. John Fields staying with it. What a scrum under the basket, guys.
What a second effort by Singapore there. They want this championship. They won 3 50-50 balls there to get the offensive rebound for John Fields.
5:30 to go. Off the dribble. Blocked out by, I believe that will be, let's see, is that Alexander? If it is, that will be 2 on the X-Man. Watch it again.
I think it's going to be
against Jaron Young. So Young now with 4 to go with his 17 points.
Lucky break there for the Slingers, because they're going to give CLS just a baseline inbounds.
First team foul on, or third team foul on Singapore. Oh boy, out of bounds it goes. Man, what a time for a turnover. Herring took his eye off the ball just for that split second.
Yeah, and great hands by Jaron Young there to get a touch on it. He got him to passing lane, got a hand with his link there, and it went off Herring's hands out of bounds. Singapore ball.
Okay, let's see if Singapore attacks the interior again. They've been the route of the jump shooting, did not work out for them. In fact, it gave, oh, look at that, alley-oop over the top again.
We saw it in the first half of the game. Doug Herring caught sleeping on that sequence. They're putting Maxi Esho on the side of Ang Han Bin, so good play there by the Slingers.
Twice in the game that's happened. Kirneerwan working on Ang Han Bin now. There to provide the screen action was Watkins off the dribble. Herring will have to move it back. Alexander in his hip pocket. Esho working on Delve and go. The ball stays on the rim. Oh boy, no foul at all called. Fields was wrapped up. Desperate times now a little bit for CLS. Singapore get a bucket here and go up by 9 or 10. Go a long way. Ang Han Bin draws a double team. Oh man, throws it away, but Young right there throws it up the stroke of midnight off the mark. Back with it comes Herring and company. Terrible possession there for Singapore. Jawado streaks through, knocked away, but a goaltending call on Delve and go.
What a smart play there on the part of Brandon Jawado. They could have gone for a three, but instead made the right decision, took it strong to the basket. Goaltending violation by Delve and go.
Let's see, hold on, is it a goaltending? No, it's going to be a foul. So 5-point lead. I guess a foul after that, right? So a chance for a 3-point play for Jawado.
Great decision by Brandon Jawado there. He saw Delvin go closing out of him. There's no way he's going to be able to keep him out of the lane. And Brandon Jawado, what a game he's had. 16 points now.
Okay, so mistake by Delvin Go. And by the way, for Go, that's 3 fouls on him. Singapore all of a sudden just with that sliver of a lead, 4 points down, 4 minutes to play. Delvin Go on that right side, working with Watkins. Go with the ball now. Bring it back outside. Young, still Young, dribbling, gets inside, and he's fouled. Let's see who that goes against. It might be Esho. If it is, that's 5.
And I get a smart play on the part of Jaron Young, attacking the heart of the defense.
Well, that's going to be on Watkins. So they, yeah, right there. Good call by the referees. Watkins got to him first. So Jaron Young playing with 4 fouls as well. How important has he been to the Singapore attack, fellas, in the 4th quarter?
He's been great in the end game, and he's been great consistently all year long in the end game. If you remember, he's the one who hit the game-winning shot against Macau. What a fantastic job he's done when it matters. And you said that line earlier, Chuck. Your best players play their best moments in their biggest games, and it's been fun to see Jaron Young kind of thrive in this opportunity.
So free throw, important shot right there, and aren't they all at this stage in the game? 5-point lead by Singapore with under 4 minutes to go.
Interesting enough, Singapore has led for 34 minutes and 29 seconds in this game. They deserve to win this basketball game, and we'll see if they can finish it.
They can hold on. 1 of 2. Ripping down the board is Herring, still playing with 4 fouls. Young with 4 fouls as well. Let's see if Herring goes at him. Ralston barking up signals. There's Jawada with the ball. Delve and go. Maroon with him over on that side. There's the switch there, backing it up. Now comes Esho. Esho behind one screen. Inside. Forces the ball inside and gets it to fall. 79-76.
High percentage shot on the part of the Knights. That's what you like about the Knights. They're not settling for outside shots. They're taking it strong against the best player of the Slingers.
So all of a sudden, 3-point game again. All that matters is who's in front at the end of the game. Kirneerwan sneaking a hand in there.
And they're just waiting for Singapore to make a mistake on their offensive end.
Well, that was close right there. Kirneerwan might have a point. He's not going to get the call, however. Singapore led by 4 at half. They'd up the lead till 10 midway through the 3rd quarter, but behind Doug Herring and Maxi Esho, they came storming back. So it's timeout now for Singapore. And really, anybody's game, guys, still 79-76. Just when you think Singapore has done enough, back come the Knights.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing. It's a one-possession game right now, and Singapore's led for the entire thing. They need to continue to attack the rim like we've talked about and play in the paint for this last 3 minutes and 19 seconds.
Especially when they've got Esho inside trying to help protect the rim with Watkins, who's playing with 4 fouls. But What about the play of Douglas Herring playing with 4 fouls, undeterred at all, just playing his game, not backing off at all on the defensive or offensive end?
You have to give it to the credit of Doug. You have to give credit to Doug Herring. Stayed composed. He's got 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Has only managed to commit 2 turnovers, and more importantly, has been able to stay in the game despite having 4 personals.
So there's the bench there. Watkins and company. Another great game for Watkins. He's kept his fouls down. On the other side of the ball, you know, John Fields, that great matchup with him. Probably advantage if you were going to, you know, if it was a boxing match, you'd probably say decision right now to Watkins. Right now, the way it's going, it's, you look on the scoreboard and you can't get much even.
If you talk about MVP nominee, import MVP nominee, 19 points for Maxi Escher in the second half.
Yeah.
Man, has he responded, and he has come to play, and he knows this is a championship game, and he's played like it in the second half here.
So the boys in white trying to hold on or maybe even increase that lead. The guys in blue going to try and take over, derail this Singapore Slinger Express. Remember, they led the league in defense, and Mr. Benitez, you said something at the beginning of the game. Singapore needs to hold them in the 60s or 70s that they're going to win this game. Well, don't look now, 79-76, so let's see. All the way down to the other end. Eung Han Bin wants nothing to do with that shot. Alexander's going to fire up a 3, and it's going to be off the mark. Esho steps in to get the rebound. Opportunity now for CLS to either get to within a point or tie.
And that's the type of shot that CLS was waiting for, that 3-point attempt from Xavier Alexander.
Scoop pass over to Jawato. Delvin Go working on him. Young giving Herring a wide berth. Now he closes him. Up comes the screen. Give and go, but nicely smelled out by Jaron Young. Jaron Young, see if he holds it up. He does, gets it to Alexander. Alexander over to the opposite side. Oh boy, he had the shot, didn't he? That's just what CLS wanted though. So 10 seconds on the shot clock. Alexander will try and make something happen. 3 on the other side, no good. Skine for the rebound, and coming down with it is Jawato. Lead pass out to Doug Herring. 2:20 to go.
Back-to-back possessions.
Back-to-back threes. No touches in the paint.
Great defense though downstairs. Here's Watkins against Fields. Let's see if they go man-to-man. Esho, Fields. Nicely closed down by Fields. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Long 3 is going to be short. Coming away with it, out of bounds it goes. I think it's going to be CLS ball.
What an effort there by Xavier Alexander. He can smell this championship. 21 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds. He wants this and to pursue that basketball. A fantastic job to come in here as a second rebounder.
Watch this, bumping up against Field, and last, oh boy, they might have gotten away with one that time.
That's a lucky break there on the part of the Slinger. So
looked like Fields got a fingernail to it before the ball went out of bounds. Never mind, 1:55 to go here. Singapore needs a bucket here. Keep the pressure on CLS. Close the door. Knocked away, Alexander. Good hands there by Herring. Jawato. Up pops Young for 2, way off the mark. Right into the hands of CLS Koreawan.
3 consecutive jump shots for Singapore.
1:30 to play. Back outside to Herring. There's the screen by Watkins. Still Watkins with the screen. He rolls off of that. Fields picks him up. Back outside again. Long 3. Esho. In and out it goes. Ball knocked around. Esho for 3 for the tie.
How big was that 3-point shot?
Downstairs it goes. Young can't get it to fall. 1:08 to go. CLS with the ball back again.
Jawato's hurt on the baseline.
Jawato down on the opposite side, but he gets up. I think he's, whoa, he is woozy.
Tweaked that left ankle.
What a change of events there in the offensive rebound. They don't identify where Esho is. He steps into an uncontested 3. Tie game now, 1:05 left.
My goodness. Jawato seems to be okay, a little bit woozy, but Jaron Young, golden opportunity for him there down on the low block, but I think he got shielded by that. He was just a little bit too deep, Scotty.
Yeah, and they are doing a good job of getting dribble penetration, but they're not finishing. They're kicking it out to the person who shoots the 3-pointer. I would love to see them attack either Esho or Herring, one of those guys, because they have 4 fouls. And try and get back to that foul line or try and get some kind of physicality going to the rim.
The ball batted around, and then finally Watkins gets the better of Delvin Go. Watch it again. There it is, right in his hand, and the rest, as they say, is history. Esho with the finish, and yeah.
And you know, that's only the 7th offensive rebound by the CLS Knights. The Slingers have 21 offensive rebounds, but what a time for Maxi Esho to hit that triple.
And on top of that, it will be CLS ball. So at the other end, Singapore not able to convert, and we've got 1:05 to go. So Singapore desperately needing a stop right now. And you can bet if they don't get the stop, or if CLS gets a bucket at the other end, and Singapore attacks, they will just fall back, park the bus, I think they say in soccer.
Yeah.
But there will be no room on the inside for Singapore to do anything.
And all year long, defense has been Singapore's calling card, and this is the most important possession of the year for them right here. They need a stop, just like you said, Chuck. They need to get a confident stop and get that ball back so they have the last possession, or one of the last possessions, and a chance to score.
Okay, they've got Doug Herring, they've got Maxi Esho going for them. They got Watkins down low, who has played very well against John Fields.
Slingers are in the penalty. Knights only have 2 team fouls.
So all the signs pointing towards CLS, Singapore. Worst trouble they've been in the game so far.
Wong Wei Long in the game. How long has he been on the bench?
Yeah. Ung Han been in. Well, you know, Wong Wei Long has the propensity to hit the big shot, as we know.
And Coach Neo matches Desmond O with that, so he brings in him as the defensive stalwart for Wong Wei Long.
Here we go. Herring working against Young, who also has 4 fouls. Watch out. Under a minute to go. Popping up the screen, wide open look for Wong Wei Long for 3. Yeah! And you can smell it.
What a three-point shot. This guy's only averaging 3 points per game in the finals. First points of the game for Wong Wei Long.
And the crowd is silent, except for the one section of Indonesian fans. And this is what Wong Wei Long has been doing for years, Scotty. Only in the uniform of the Singapore Slingers. You'd never think that he would do it against him, but that's exactly what has happened here. With under a minute to go, 53.2 to be exact, and Singapore in a hole.
Ice in his veins. Wong Wei Long, just like you said, guys, he's been on the bench forever. To come in and hit a shot of that magnitude at this moment, what a shot, especially in his old arena.
Yeah, now watch this. There's the rotation over there, and Desmond O running at him, but all the attention was focused on the opposite side. Wong Wei Long doing what he has been doing since he came into this league.
And how about the confidence of Coach Brian Rosa, putting him cold from the bench and then calling the play for Wong Wei Long.
And Marco, you talked about that the big screen action. Desmond O was so worried about Maxi Esho coming off that screen. That's how Wong Wei Long got open for that 3, an uncontested 3 to put them up 3 seconds with 3 points, 53 seconds left here.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how CLS defend this, guys. Do they go ahead and give up a 2?
If I'm the Singapore Slingers, I'm not settling for an outside shot. I'm getting something going to the rim. Esho has 4 personals, Herring has 4 personals. You still have 53 seconds remaining. So even if you score a bucket, they have a possession. The ball is still going to go back to you.
Either way you cut it, even if Singapore scores, they're going to have to get a stop at the other end. Ung Han Bin off to Alexander. Alexander brushing past and accentuating on the dunk right there. So 1-point game, 48-1 to go.
Great decision by Xavier Alexander to go to the rim there, get a bucket, and now it's a 1-possession game again.
Joato working against Delvin Go. Up pops Maxi Esho. Alexander sloughs off on him. Young against Herring. Shot clock down to 10. Now it's 9. Esho stops the dribble, looking for Herring. Gets the ball to Herring. Herring one way to the basket, up and off. It is off the mark. Alexander on the break, 23.5 to go. Alexander, in front of him is Joato, and there's the foul. Alexander will go to the line.
And that's the right play there for Xavier Alexander. If you're going to go down, you're going to go down swinging with your MVP.
3 jump shots in the possessions before. They come back with 2 takes to the rim. Xavier Alexander, 2 foul shots, a chance to put Singapore up 1.
No, it will not be a foul shot. I think it's going to be on the baseline. So calling it before the shot, but still, they doesn't take anything away from the decision making of Xavier Alexander. Now 18.9. Singapore can play for the last shot. Alexander, Ung Han Bin, Fields, Young, Delvin Go. Gonna have to be careful with this inbounds. All the way back out to Jaron Young. Jaron Young with the ball. Jaron's Young. Fields takes the ball to the basket. Ball in the air. taken by CLS. Opportunity now. They've got a foul. They do. Doug Herring with the ball. He will go to the line with 11.7. And the shot by Fields off the mark.
What a sorry miss there on the part of John Fields. That's the shot that they wanted right in front of the rim, just leaving it a little too strong.
So the Knights with a chance to go up by 3.
And the guy you want at the line.
Yeah,
Douglas
absolutely.
Herring is a player. He's got a very nice stroke. This is the guy you want shooting the critical foul shots right now for CLS.
And what a job by Herring all throughout this game, playing with 4 fouls. Take that, he says, calmly stroking down the shot to give a 2-point lead to CLS.
Even if he makes both, you're still in it. You can still tie it with a 3-point shot with 11.7 to go.
Absolutely. So here it goes. Fields and Alexander with the low blocks. There's a shot, 3-point lead now. Alexander, and there's a touch foul by Kerneerwan. Smart job by CLS. They had 2 fouls to give, so that's their 4th team foul.
You know, CLS might actually foul the ball
one more
handler,
time, yeah.
Force them to take the free throw.
Downstairs it goes. Jaron Young, Alexander, still Alexander. They're going to have to make a decision here. Jaron Young rises, fires for 3, way off the mark, and that'll do it. CLS Knights have held on. They have defeated the Singapore Slingers on their own home court, 84-81. First time in history for them. And for the Singapore Slingers, 3rd time is not a charm.
What a Cinderella story here for the CLS Knights. Did not make the playoffs last season. Started out 2-7 this season, rattled off 7 straight wins. Went the distance in each of their playoff matches. Going the distance again here against the Singapore Slingers.
In a season punctuated by the sublime, the classiest act is preserved for the final seconds here in Game 5. And it's the CLS Knights who will scrape themselves off the floor, and they will be the 2018-19 champions. And Singapore, 3rd time not lucky, 3rd time not a charm. They give it up in the 4th quarter, the dagger to make matters worse, Marco, to the man that played, that donned the Singapore uniform for all those years. Wong Wei Long hitting the big 3 to put the Knights in great position to win this, and they do. Coach Rousum's got to be a proud man, shaking his head. He knew it was going to go 5. He said it all along. And the CLS Knights, against all odds coming in enemy territory, will be the champions, Marco. And what do you say about a game like this? I mean, gosh, words just don't explain it.
Singapore Slingers had the lead for about 35 of the 40, maybe 38 of the 40 minutes. Biggest lead of the Knights was 3 points, and that is the final score in this game. And you talked about it, Chuck. Storybook ending for Wong Wei Long, the former Singapore Slinger.
84-81 it is. And what about the play of Douglas Herring playing with 4 fouls? What about the play of Maxi Esho, 25 points, also playing with 4 fouls? How critical was that?
Maxi Esho had 4 points the entire first half. We talked about how their own MVP was going to get his numbers. Came out big when it mattered the most. Came out big in the second half. 21 second half points for Maxi Esho, and that big triple off that tap out from Daryl Watkins.
So Watkins slightly outplaying John Fields, outscoring him 13-11, getting the better of him, staying out of foul trouble. I thought that was key throughout this match. And there was Wong Wei Long, and he is beside himself. Watch it again. There is a dagger play of the day, no doubt about them. There is his reaction as he has done it for the CLS Knight. Whip pass over to him, and Desmond running to him as quickly as he can. All the attention focused on the opposite side, Marco.
And how cool and composed Coach Brian Rosam has been. What an excellent play call. Excellent substitution, putting in Wong Wei Long in the game's biggest moment.
Okay, we're going to jump over to Scotty over there with Wong Wei Long and see what they've got to say. Scotty, take it away, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, here with Wong Wei Long, the hero of the CLS Knights. Wong, after sitting on the bench for so long and coming back into that game and hitting the crucial 3-pointer, how were you able to do that?
I have no idea how I hit that shot. It's always my repetitions during trainings. And when the coach called upon me, I'm ready for the shot.
You've been known to have ice in your veins and be a clutch player, and we saw that in Singapore as well. What a moment for you. What does it feel like to come back here to your home country, your old gymnasium, and hit a shot like that?
It was a very emotional night for me. My families are here. I've not been seeing them for the past 7 months, and here I am back at Singapore. Getting this champion means a lot to me and my family, my wife. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
Congratulations, what a shot, and you have to be proud of your effort and what you did tonight. So big congratulations, hey?
Have a nice day.
Okay, so Wong Wei Long hitting the game winner for the CLS Knights, and it just wasn't to be for the Singapore Slingers. They gave it their best. You know, these teams played each other 9 times, and it took a shot at the stroke of midnight by Wong Wei Long to win it. So they get the season series win over the Singapore Slingers. The Indonesian flag goes up. CLS Knights win it 5-4, but more importantly, the game that mattered the most, and there they are, and who can blame them? They are happy. Maxi Esho playing under duress, Marco Benitez and Herring, and my goodness, these broken-hearted fans here, they're going to have to wait till next year, and that has been a familiar refrain for Singapore fans.
Tough loss here for the Singapore Slingers, as you mentioned. 3 out of the past 4 seasons in the finals, and I think this was their best chance. They led it most of the way, and again, what a story. Wong Wei Long won MVP twice with the Slingers and winning a championship as part of the opposing team.
Okay, we've got another interview with Scotty and Maxi Esho over on the sidelines.
Ladies and gentlemen, here with Maxi Esho, the MVP nominee. Maxi, you only had 3 points in the first half, 22 in the second half. How were you able to rally into having such a great second half?
My teammates, my coach, my owner, everybody believed in me, and I had a few angels with me today. I had a lot of angels with me today.
Maxi, what a moment for you and your teammates. What can you say about Coach Ralston, this organization, and yourself, and what you guys did well this year to become the champions of the ABL?
From day one, we just been doing the same thing. It got so boring. So boring. Sometimes we come into practice and I know I heard everybody say, like, I'm tired of doing the same thing. But we practice everything every single day. We practice these type of situations. We just been prepared for this, and we just had some angels with us today, and we had a lot of heart today, I feel like.
Well, big congratulations, Max, on a fantastic season individually and as your team, and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you so much.
Well done, bud.
Angels indeed, and they certainly were sitting on the shoulders of this fortuitous team, the CLS Knights, who made it happen, much to the delight of their very excited fans who came all these miles, weathered all those. Remember, this is a team, Marco, that was 5-15 last year, and they come all the way back, and what a job Coach Ralston did, and you know, you've got to tip your hat where the hat tip is due, and Wong Wei Long, Maxi Esho, Doug Herring, you know, all the guys that had something to do with this win, and there they are there, and you can't blame them. You know, it's sweet when you can wrap it up on your own court, but second best is doing it on your enemies, and that's exactly what they've done.
And you talk about character. You know, this team won back-to-back games. They went down in the series 2-1 after that Game 3 win by the Singapore Slingers in Gor Kertajaya, and then winning the next 2 games, especially this Game 5 here in Singapore, despite being down for the entire game, only leading at the end. What a character win here, and you won't find anybody more deserving than Maxi Esho.
Scott McKinnon, I think you'd agree that some of the turning points in the game, there were many, but when it got to the point where Singapore was jacking up threes at inopportune times, that just wasn't Singapore basketball. They didn't fall for them. They thought that they would. They were a shot or 2 away from breaking the game open, and instead it went the other way.
Yeah, and they played a fantastic 37 minutes. They just couldn't get that separation that they needed. They couldn't push the game to 12, 13, or 14 points to break CLS, and like Marco, when you said the grit and perseverance that this team has showed on opposing teams' court to come back, to be trailing most of the game, and then to win it with a Wong Wei Long 3-pointer in his old gymnasium where he sat on the bench for almost 15 minutes of playing time.
Can't write it any better than that.
Can't write it any better.
No, and you know, Wong Wei Long, this is probably the high point of his career, you know, because all those years he toyed with the Slingers. They had some good teams, but and he was with the team on that Malaysian team that came so very close, but went up to KL and lost. But you know, he would have been the last one to think that he would come back 3 years later, not even playing for Singapore, and win the ABL championship the hard way. But bittersweet for him, I'm sure. All of his family's here, and there's the water bath, not the champagne bath. this isn't the NBA, but to these guys it is. And Coach Rowsome, I tell you, he had my vote as Coach of the Year, but he certainly got his players' vote as Coach of the Year. That is for certain.
Hard to find a classier guy, a kinder, nicer guy to talk to. Coach Brian Rowsome. He instilled a different culture in this team, a winning culture. He's a players coach, gave the guys, even gave his bench players a lot of confidence. And cannot say enough about that decision to put in Wong Wei Long in his former home court in the biggest moment of the game to hit that game winner.
Yeah, so many heroes to talk about, really on both sides of the ball. You don't want to belittle the effort that the Singapore Slingers came out here with Scotty. And as we said before, you made a good point. They led for 37 minutes of this game. Their fans were strapped in and ready to go, ready to celebrate. But hey, that is basketball, and that's why they play 40 minutes. You've got to be winning at the end of the day. And Singapore forgot that lesson, I feel, just a little bit in that fourth quarter when they started going against their game plans instead of dribble penetrating, instead of trying to get the ball, forcing the ball inside. That's where they caused their damage. That's where they racked up the fouls against the opposing team. You settle for the jump shot. You win by the jump shot. You lose by the jump shot. And today they lost by it.
Yeah, and as a Singapore Slingers fan, you couldn't be more proud of this group of players and what they've done. And it starts with Xavier Alexander. 23 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds, guarding Max Yeshel the entire game. As a player, a person, I am extremely proud to cheer for him and cheer for this team. At the end of the game, though, Chuck, they did a couple technical errors, a couple ill-advised shots, and all of a sudden it's a tie game with 1 minute left, and someone comes off the bench and hits a three.
And you can only hope that they keep the core of this team, continue with this program, because if you talk about one of the teams that has done it the right way, Singapore Slingers have definitely done it the right way, and it's unfortunate that they just come up short the past 3 seasons.
Well, evidenced by, you talk about doing it the right way, that means that you invest in your local players. It paid off big time tonight in the form of Delvago, 19 points, 11 boards. I don't know what else he could have done, but just not quite enough to send him through to the next level. And, and Lou did a magnificent job in the first half against Herring on the other side of the ball, but sort of ran out of gas that second half. Herring sort of picked up on that, and even though he had 4 fouls, he did not give up any intensity at all. He kept attacking. It paid off. And what about the passing game that the CLS Knights did the last 4 or 5 minutes? Always finding the open man, always finding the little space, getting the separation that they needed to drain the shots.
And Chuck, you and Marco made a great point in the first quarter when we went up by 10 points. You mentioned the score, and it was 25-23 or something like that after the first quarter. And we look right now, Marco said if it's an 80-point game, Singapore's not going to win the basketball game. And it just they couldn't keep up that scoring pace towards the end of the game as the defense tightened. And Max Yeshel and Wong Wei Long hit 2 massive 3-pointers in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, as we're digressing, the CLS Knights in pretty much a silent arena now, getting their trophies, and it's too bad for them that they couldn't have, do it on their own home court. I wish that they, I think that they wish that they could have done it, but this is next best. And they are lifting the trophies, and they should be very, very proud. And again, just to accentuate what you said, Scotty, I'm so very proud of these Singapore Slingers, getting to the finals, 3 times in 4 years. There are lots of teams, that will, and lots of guys that will play their whole careers and never get to the finals. So no reason to hang your heads. They wish it could have gone the other way, but next year is next year, far off into the distance, but always something to build on. And I can't say enough for the organization, MJ, and everybody that's made this Singapore Slingers team possible, doing it the right way, as Marco said. And there's Jericho giving some props to this CLS Knight team right now.
GM Michael Johnson and your head coach Neil Benchon. What a great series. Thank you so much.
And we're waiting for the championship trophy. All the other players have gotten their trophies, and the physios and the assistant manager and everybody else.
So far, this is the best one. Thank you to the CLS Foundation. Thank you to the Knight Society, to their head coach Brian Rowsome, to their GM,
and
Barry.
You won't find a more proud guy in the arena right now, Wong Wei Long. Look at that. That look, if looks could talk, that's worth about 1 million words right there.
I'm sure it's extra special for him because he did not have a good final series by his standards, just averaging 3 points per game in the finals.
Hidayat, who was so instrumental in that Game 4 win, up in Surabaya with 8 points. And Coach Rowson, what can you say about him? Calm, cool hand, the ex-NBAer, legitimate NBA experience as a player, and one of these nomad vagabond coaches who go around the world applying their trade, and he certainly found a home. And there is the championship trophy, and Douglas Herring will raise it on behalf
champions
of CLS Knights.
Of season
there
9
they
of
are,
BTN,
your champions for the
BTN
2018-19 season,
Indonesia.
the CLS Knights. By a score of 84-81. They overcome the tenacious Singapore Slinger team, who did everything right except for the last couple of minutes, and CLS Knights hit the big shots when they had to. Marco Benitez, you were saying that the way you hoped the game would end would be a buzzer beater. Well, not quite, but very, very close to that, my friend.
Well, I don't think we could have asked for a better ending here in OCBC Arena. Two well-deserved teams. Any one of them could have won the championship and have really deserved it.
There were about 4 or 5 teams. We saw talk about parity while we had the few seconds. You know, we saw the Macau Black Bears bust out of the gate very, very quickly. Then the Alab Pilipinas looked like they would be the team to beat Formosa Dreamers, and then
Mono Vampire coming from 8th seed.
My goodness, yeah. And then, of course, when all the smoke cleared and all the favorites had gone down, don't forget Hong Kong. They were right in the mix of things. Singapore took care of them, but there you go, the finals MVP, Maxi Esho.
Well deserved.
Yeah, in that first half, I was critical of Maxi Esho not being aggressive, not being assertive. He only had 3 points after that first half, only taking 3 shots. And man, did he come out like a gangbuster in that second half. 22 points and took 13 shots to finish 11 of 16 from the field, and a well-deserved MVP honor goes to Maxi Esho.
All predicated with him driving the lane a couple of times, taking the contact, bouncing off of that, hitting the shots. And then he got his outside game warmed up, and that was all she wrote for CLS. He is the indispensable guy. So, all right, that's going to do it from here. The OCBC Arena, Scotty McKinnon and Mr. Benitez. So happy that you were with us, Marco. And it's been a terrific season, and I hope we'll tee it up again next season. So for everybody, the production staff, for Marco, for Scotty, this is Chuck Schreiner. Final score again, CLS Knights 84, Singapore Slingers 81. From OCBC Arena here in the Lion City of Singapore, one more time, so long for now.